Afternoon and welcome everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. A little voice crack there. I got a higher pitch welcome there than I normally do. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online. ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you're going to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything, but sometimes you do, and that's all right. All 3 hours are going to be posted upon the conclusion of the show, both through iTunes and in our own audio vault. You can also, I should say, email the show if you want, jcs@979espnradio.com. WTSM app, I've sold that sucker for years now. You got to get it. Get the app because the Tropos, it comes and goes, and it's frustrating, but the app is always spot on. You're good to go there. I drove past a school earlier today, and I was reminded that, isn't it odd, like when it's beautiful out like it is right now, do you remember, Tom, I think, and this the childlike view of sports is what reminded me of this. Do you remember how excited you get for recess?
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Wasn't recess just – I actually relived it in my mind today when I drove past this school because I saw the kids sprinting out into this open field, and they just were running for joy. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't because they were excited about whatever sport they were going to play, but rather just it's recess. And so you just ran to the playground as if you were going to discover, I don't know, gold. You were so excited. You just, whoa, and you ran out there. And then, there was whatever. You're going to play some dodgeball, some softball, whatever you're going to do.
We had soccer fields, and they would split it up amongst the grades because we couldn't all play nice.
Right.
You know how that goes, like sixth graders and fourth graders. So they rotated the fields every day. There was like the crappy field, the medium field, and then it was called
the big field. Oh, the big field.
The big field, yeah.
But that's where you work it out. Sports is good this way, but so is recess. And sometimes they're pretty much one and the same. But you work out the social structure and how to get through certain things. I'm always telling my kids about why I want them to play sports. I don't care what sport they play so long as they're playing a sport. And so I'll tell them, same thing when it goes to playing an instrument or something. I'm like, it teaches you other things. So, but I'll say to them, man, when you play a bunch of different sports, you figure out real quick what the deal is with people. Every personality type in the world is involved. In an office, you may not get that. But in sports, you do, especially if you're playing a big team sport. Really difficult to deal with people. Kindred spirits. Fat, slow, tall, skinny. They're all out there.
The complainer.
Oh, yeah, the whiner, the weak, the strong, the fierce, the dirty.
Right.
The cruel. They're all there.
The fierce and boisterous and the fierce but quiet.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The confident. The mouse.
The clutch.
You get them all. It's a beautiful thing. I wanted to relay the fact that sometimes it's good just to drive past something like that and see kids running out heart full of joy just because it's recess.
We used to do, when I was probably in second and third grade, we would play basketball, and it would be 2-on-2 games. And we'd always pick what NBA duo we wanted to be for that day. But it reminds me, back in the 90s, you had a lot of good duos, man. Like, a lot of them. You could pick, a lot of us picked the Magic because Orlando was just, coming on the scene. So somebody was Shaq and somebody was Penny. But you could pick, obviously, the Bulls or the Knicks or the Rockets or the Pacers or even the Heat for a couple of years. I mean, there were a lot. Or how about the Supersonics with Kemp and Payton? I mean, the sky was the limit.
It's the reason NBA Jams is one of the greatest games of all time.
Yeah,
I mean, that's why. Because you go back. I mean, I don't think it's just nostalgia either. I love that game to this day. They did a reboot recently, and it was awesome. I love it. And, but it's funny. I go back, you see these, I think because I'm of a certain age, those kinds of shirts are marketed towards me. If you're on, like, Instagram or something, you'll see. But when there's a shirt for NBA Jams that you can get, and if you pick Orlando, same type thing, right? But I remember I would always take Orlando because you could play with Nick Anderson one year, too. He was a three-point shooting just like Dennis Scott.
Yeah, because it was 3-on-3, right? Wasn't NBA Jam?
It was 2-on-2, I think.
It was 2-on-2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, you'd picked. But they also had Horace Grant one year. I remember that. And I always liked it because the best part of that game was you could just elbow people and knock them down and then steal the ball. And then when you'd be on fire, you couldn't wait. Like you were actually making the shots. You're like, oh, get you some of this, get you some of this. It was the best. I missed that game. I missed offensive lines that can block. And that's why I was reading just as I came on the air, Corey Clark, my buddy Corey Clark's piece on warchant.com. I literally was. The show starting interrupted my effort to continue to read this story. But I was laughing at something because in the story he wrote that Willie Taggart figured he might get asked about the offensive line on his tour. And the spring, what was going on and have things gotten better, and he'd get asked a lot about it, and he was. And apparently he's downright excited about the offensive line. You buying that?
Well, if he thinks they're going to be average, then I think he would legitimately be excited about the offensive line.
He says it's going to be better than what we've been for a while. I think you're going to see some points scored and yardage up on the statistics and quarterbacks staying off their backs. He thinks they're going to be, quote, really good. Willie, you're getting carried away, Willie.
Clicking that pen.
You're getting carried away because I don't think they're going to be really good. I think the guard play is going to be much better. I think center play is going to be better. So the interior of the offensive line is going to be better. I got my question marks about the tackles.
Who was it? It was Mavetti and somebody else who's going to be better than Matthias and Jackson.
That's right, Jimbo Fisher.
That was in Tampa, I think.
He not only said that publicly, which, okay, he also stated that to me privately while we were talking before our interview. He was prattled on about that, and I really? And because he had such a good track record of player evaluation, you had no reason really to doubt him. But then,
yeah, the one he got so very right was that Kelvin Benjamin. He was going to turn him into the best receiver he had, and I was like, well, you've had Michael Clayton, and I know Michael didn't pan out at the NFL, but Michael was bona fide at the college level. But when Kelvin did kind of click on that last 8 games of his career,
when he decided to play.
Oh, my God.
Well, but that was a physical mismatch. And, here's the sad truth is Kelvin Benjamin is going to be viewed as a short-lived NFL prospect, too. He had this great rookie season. He balled out, and he made himself some money, but he's been a disappointment. You can't look like that, have that body type, and show flashes of dominance, even at the next level like he did his rookie season. And not expect that that's something that now we'll watch for 10 years if you care to be it, if you care to work.
That's why I'd love for Jameis to get right this year. Okay, everybody's
so
fine.
We bring him in for like next to nothing and
get him for $600K.
Yeah.
And Jameis says, "Let's do this. You and me. You get Evans on one side, KB on the other, and let's go to war in the middle. Little Chris Godwin action."
I'm really curious, by the way, since we began talking football here and kind of delved into the Jimbo Fisher era. First of all, I got an email today about the sound clips we still have on file regarding Fisher. They miss hearing them. Our listeners miss hearing some of the Jimbo-isms, not because they like Jimbo, but because the sound clips we had were funny. Another body is going to live forever. I mean, it's still one of my very favorites.
Yeah, I like him.
That's funny, too. That's the Peanuts. That's what he was doing the car wash.
What does Ruble bring to the offensive line?
Another body.
Yeah, I like him.
That really never gets old.
Hammered right after the game.
Another body. What in the world?
Thank you very much.
So all of those, yeah. So we have listeners who missed those. The question that they posed was, will Willie be here long enough to create his own?
And he has one. He's got like War Daddies, and that's it.
Yeah, he's not a soundbite.
That's good to know.
You typically can't. That's what he's dismissing Ryan Russillo.
That is the best Jimbo of all time, Ryan Russillo.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm about. And it goes on for a minute. And then Jimbo cold.
That's good to know.
Yeah, Russillo was on a soapbox and prattling on about integrity and
You should have just swung the mic
and just got up
in
and left.
Russillo's face after that. Good to know.
That was cruel and unusual. But here's the thing. You can't have sound bites that people use unless well, that's not true. You can't build up a collection like we have with him unless, A, you're here long enough to do it. So, got to have to win some games for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And B, people are going to want to talk to you, and they typically want to talk to you when you win games.
Well, and you got to break monotone, and there's just really not much there. Willie is quite good at preventing himself from being on the wall here.
So I am wondering now, though, because I'm sure folks at Texas A&M are wondering too. The money probably means it doesn't happen, but in college football, so Scott Woodward rolled out of Texas A&M, and of course he was responsible for bringing Jimbo there. They had worked together previously at LSU. Woodward is taking the same job as athletic director at LSU, and he left Texas A&M to do it. And we all know how desperately LSU wanted Jimbo Fisher. And I wonder how long before the flirting begins. Even with a 10-year, $75 million contract and everything from a facility standpoint you could possibly want, I think they have eyes for each other.
Yeah, I like him.
He doesn't owe A&M a red cent to walk. There is no buyout. He can leave for free whenever he wants.
But it's crazy. Look, I know there are things worth more than money. And once you have a certain amount of money, okay, what are we doing here? If you have a passion for a place, an area, a school in particular, a program, you would maybe take less to go coach there than what you're currently making at your job, wherever that might be. But in this case, it's at the place that can afford to pay you more than anybody else. But to walk away from 10 years, $75 million, just because you love LSU, that's not going to happen anytime soon. It was all over Twitter yesterday. That was the very first thing that came up once it was announced that he was riding out. I will say this: if you're Texas A&M, they have to look in the mirror on a regular basis at Texas A&M and say, what's wrong with us? Why do we get used all the time? Why do people use us as a stepping stone job? We've got more money than all the rest of them, guys, and we get used and abused. I mean, it's this is a guy goes there, paid exceptionally well, did a good job, obviously hired Jimbo, hired Buzz Williams, and those guys at Texas A&M, they begged him to stay. But he rode out nonetheless, and I didn't realize that that job has now seen, I think, 4 different athletic directors in the last, is that the last 6 years? Is that right?
They'd have to have a couple of interims because this most recent departure, I think he was there for 3 years. So you tell me you'd have 3 others within a 3-year span? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But then again, it's a dysfunctional athletic situation there. And Jimbo doesn't owe them a dime. So, he can leave whenever he wants for the next 10-year, $77.5 million deal in Baton Rouge.
Well, it's a trend at Texas A&M, revolving door at the top of the athletic department. Woodward's replacement will be the 4th person to hold that post since they've joined the SEC. So that's what it was.
Okay.
Since joining the SEC, they will have now had 4 different athletic directors. They joined in 2012? That's crazy.
I left the boots on my desk, and I left your present inside my left foot boot.
I keep thinking about those freaking boots. I also think about the scenario that I've dreamt up of the Vietnam veteran Texas A&M graduate who just wanders into Jimbo's office whenever he wants because he's got more money than sense, right? And he just walks in. Jimbo, I was thinking the other day, we oughta, and Jimbo has to he stares back at him. What are you doing in my office?
With those icy blue eyes when he gets pissed.
When he gets pissed. Well, they're usually darting. He's the world's worst poker player. Never seen a guy show how much he's being affected by another person or a game or a situation that makes him uncomfortable in the way that Jimbo Fisher's eyes betrayed him. I've never seen that. It was uncomfortable to see him uncomfortable.
And I know it sounds weird, but just bear with me because it's true also. He has the darting tongue back and forth, too, when he gets I know, I had to preface it. But that means he's done with you. You know, when you got to about question 7 after a Tuesday practice.
He's done.
Yeah. and that's what we do. That's what we do.
In the way that which we do things. And you're like, it's just make up sentences, like crazy things that don't work.
Yeah, you'd ask him a question, too. It wouldn't make sense. The answer wouldn't make sense. He did this with Gene all the time. You could tell he had no time to do those quick, Jimbo Fisher minutes. Because he'd be like, well, Coach, it seems like Willie Halstead's coming on. It does. It does. And that's what we do.
And that's in the way that we do it.
It does or he does.
Yes.
It does. And that's what we're trying to preach here. Okay.
This
has been the Jimbo Fisher Minute.
I'm out of here. The Cardinals quite clearly made it abundantly obvious that they plan to part ways with Josh Rosen. The draft is 1 week from today. We will be at Bumpa's Local 349. Hope to see you there. Looking forward to it. It's what is on the plate right now, right? The draft. But I love draft week. I love being this close to the draft. I love the draft party. I love that everybody has, hope springs eternal during the draft. Everybody comes out to the draft feeling good about their team. So this week, the NFL schedules came out. Obviously, Cleveland Browns fans are ecstatic because they go from being, in the outhouse to the penthouse. Now they're on in prime time every time you look up, which is interesting. And I've already gotten very sick of the Cleveland Browns now, but they're going to be in our face.
You want to crown them?
Crown their ass, right? They're out there. We'll look at the schedules. Obviously, we'll touch on that, but touch on the NFL as well. But I think it's funny. The Cardinals, why do you tip your hand? What is wrong with teams, man? There's no reason to do that. They put out a video promoting the upcoming season, and Josh Rosen isn't in it. You just drafted that dude last year to be your franchise quarterback, and now you've got a promotional video for the upcoming season ticket sales, all of that, and he's not in it. There are probably players in that video that fans don't even know who they are. Who's that guy? I don't know. He's fast. Oh, okay. He's a special teams guy. And Josh Rosen's like, guys, do you need me to come record?
It's Walter Roby Williams, man.
What time's the shoot?
He's our gunner on special teams.
What time do you need me to be? Don't worry about it, Josh. We're good. We got our guy.
We've got plenty of film.
You want me to put on the uniform and throw the ball around? You want me to do anything? I can be there. I mean, guys, I'm here for the franchise. No, we're good. Have a good one. If you're him, you probably, look. Somebody that trades for you, I would think, is doing so because they're going to make you their guy. I mean, you're not doing that to bring him in to be a backup, I wouldn't think, unless it's something like the Patriots, like I said yesterday.
Yeah.
Brady probably couldn't handle that, could he? He would pout.
I would think so, absolutely, because I'm sure Rosen has a much better hairline, right? So
I haven't looked at Rosen's hairline, but I know that
if it breathes at all, he's got a better one.
Lest we forget, Tom got exposed last year.
He
couple
did.
of photos. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Of an increasing energy, Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is the Jeep headquarters of America. We've purchased over 100 Jeep Renegades, and they've all arrived and are on the lot for immediate delivery. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude with MSRP starting at $25,120. On sale now for $18,870. That's a savings of $6,250. A new Jeep starting at only $18,870. Those prices are unheard of and can only be found at your Jeep headquarters of America, Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. No other dealer can offer you this kind of savings. We buy in mass quantities and pass along the savings to you. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude, starting at $18,870. Payments as low as $299 a month. On the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Check us out on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. All prices include rebates and incentives plus tax, title, and dealer fees. State number 18J605. Must finance through Chrysler Capital and qualify for all rebates and incentives.
Spring is coming, so don't let your lawn care to-do list get the best of you. At Land Care Equipment Sales and Service in Tallahassee, see all the amazing committed-to-the-cut Grasshopper mowers, featuring best-in-class, built-to-outlast, true zero-turn mowing. Free up more of your time using your Grasshopper for year-round lawn maintenance, from mowing to mulching and everything in between. So whether you're a pro or just want to mow like one, make your next mower a Grasshopper. See them at 4211 Capitol Circle Northwest, or check them out at lawnmowerdealer.net.
Thursdays are Friday Eve, and that's a reason to celebrate. No matter what you're looking for, they've got you covered every Thursday down in College Town. Centrale offers 50% off select pizzas all day, every Thursday. Or you can stop by Township for Taco Thursday. $2 house tacos, $2. Madison Social offers the Social Agreement. You and a buddy can split one order of wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday College Town deals right now on ThursdaysInCollegetown.com.
Calling all youth soccer players. The 2018 national champion Florida State women's soccer team is holding a day camp June 3rd through the 6th, 2019. And you can beat the heat. All sessions will take place inside the indoor practice facility on the campus of FSU. The Summer Day Academy is designed for all players wanting development of fundamental soccer skills. The staff creates an environment that promotes soccer confidence, enjoyment, and good sportsmanship. Early bird registration discounts by April 30th. Visit SeminolesSoccerCamps.com now for more information and to register.
Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
Hendrick. Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC has to sell 500 cars now through April 30th. Shop our huge selection and get the biggest savings of the year. Everyone wins. Visit Dale Earnhardt Jr. BuickGMC.com. We are professional grade.
At Indeed, we understand that when it comes to hiring, it's important to have a large talent pool to choose from. But sometimes too many good options can be overwhelming. That's why Indeed doesn't just give you access to a large pool of job seekers. We also offer screener tools that let you instantly narrow down your search. Hone in on hiring with Indeed. Increase your visibility to great candidates with the free sponsored job upgrade on your first job posting at Indeed.com/promo. The sponsored job upgrade is a $50 sponsored job credit. Users are charged once the credit is spent or it expires. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Big at the plate and ablaze on the base paths. The 2019 Atlanta Braves are ready to defend their title as the season gets rolling.
And hit in the air to center field and crushed to straightaway center as far as you can go.
Atlanta Braves baseball on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you by Whitten Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass, and by The Deck Pizza Pub in downtown Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
A lot of travel on that schedule. Jesus.
Well, I don't know. The NFL schedule is I don't get. I know I brought it up yesterday, but I don't get nearly as excited as everybody does. I used to think, but had it beaten out of me, that you could kind of easily adjust for certain teams' rise and predict the downfall of others based on whether it's aging superstars or certain departures in free agency, whatever it might be. But I've given up trying that. I mean, yeah, there are some things at the top that you can count on. For example, New England's going to be good. That's first and foremost. You can just always say that. The division sucks. They got the best coach, Hall of Fame quarterback. They're going to be good. But other than that in the league, there aren't too many. I used to think I could count on the fact that the Browns were going to suck. Not anymore. Can't count on that anymore. And they're going to be very, very public. Everybody's on board with the Browns, and that includes the NFL, who put them in prime time 4 different times.
Well, I think if you look at the schedule and the divisions that we're matched up with this year, the quarterback opponents aren't outlandishly difficult. Last year it was. You're like, my God, we really don't get a break. But the hard part is both of the Carolina games are weird because we play the first Thursday night short week game of the season. Thanks for that. We host San Francisco to open the season. We play the Panthers up in Charlotte 4 or 5 days later. And then the second Panthers game we play in London, or we play the new Tottenham, whatever. But look at this. It's ridiculous. So September the 22nd, the Buccaneers host the Giants. I feel like for our annual game with the Giants. We played them like 5 or 6 last year.
I would always want to play the Giants. That's a terrible team most years.
I think it's 5 of the 6,
I just took a shot
or so.
Because I know a certain friend of ours is listening.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
But then we go on the road to L.A. All right. Okay. We come back to play New Orleans. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go all the way out to England for a home game, and we get our bye week after that. Then we play at Tennessee and then at Seattle across the country before finally coming back for a true home game, the first one since September the 22nd, to face the Cardinals on November 10th. That's ridiculous.
We've been so bad, I'm reluctant to worry about the schedule. I'm with you. I understand. You don't want to have things that are a hindrance.
You're going East Coast, West Coast, Central, then British, break, you're back to Tennessee, then you go West Coast back to East Coast. I mean, screw you, man. That's nuts.
Speaking of which, that's Jameis Winston versus Marcus Mariota, part 2.
If Marcus is playing.
If he's not hurt, that's a very big if. But if he's not hurt, that will be obviously something of great interest. It could be what some would call maybe the last time these two meet in these uniforms. We shall see. I'm very interested this season for a lot of reasons. First of all, it's the league, and we carry every Bucks game right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Jameis Winston's the quarterback. There's a myriad of reasons. I'm from down there. But this is a brand-new head coach, one who loves his quarterback and believes in throwing the ball down the field, and said quarterback seemed to have figured it out in the last 3 games last year. He seemed to have figured it all out, right? I mean, the maturity that we've been begging to see on the field, control of your emotions, obviously off the field as well. He got into great shape. He overcame having been benched, rightfully benched, then got his job back, seemingly learned something from his time on the bench, from Fitzpatrick, and it's a go time now. I mean, this is it, right? I don't know about. I don't know what the numbers are going to look like in terms of wins and losses for the Bucs because they've got holes to fill. We know that. That's why we're excited about the draft. But in terms of him rounding into form and having the most even keel season of his NFL life, I think that happens this year. I think the highs and the lows will not be so great. His highs are very high. I mean, he for rookie quarterbacks, he has set records for guys whose career is only this, his 10
3-4 full years.
Yeah. He's already done some things that are in the record books, but he's also turned the ball over a ton, and he's been overly emotional, and he's lost the locker room, and he's had all these different things happen. I'm really curious to see what kind of steadying force Arians will be for him, and I think certainly it's a welcome change because he didn't like the previous head coach.
No.
The previous head coach wasn't likable.
I think one of the quirks here of this schedule is you get through Thanksgiving and you get to December 1st. 3 of your last 5 games, the month of December, because it's an odd year where you have 5 Sundays in December, are against AFC South opponents. You play Jacksonville on December the 1st, which great weather, should be able to just go on over and caravan to that game. That'll be fun.
Sweet.
Play the Colts the next week in Tampa. And then you get the Texans, and that could flex to either be a Saturday or a Sunday game, December 21st or 22nd. But you only have one NFC South game after December 1st. So the division, where the Bucs stand in the division, is going to be determined in the first few months of the season. Typically, the way the NFL has done things in the past few years,
you're building to that.
Is you build to it, and in December, it's some variety of Carolina, New Orleans, and Atlanta for at least 3 out of the last 4, if not 4 out of the last 5.
And
but we're going to have it settled early.
Yeah, and it should be that way, though. The previous way, the way you just described, that ought to be the case. You want, it's just like in baseball, you want these interdivision rivalries to happen late in the year with everything on the line.
Yeah.
So it's kind of annoying that they didn't. Speaking of the schedule release, by the way, when you go back and you look at all this, I will say that week 2 game between the Saints and the Rams, good job.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
They have a sense of humor. The league does a good job with that.
It's like the selection committee for basketball. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
You put Minnesota against Louisville?
Well,
really? Okay.
Just go through all of this. You've got Chiefs at the Patriots, of course.
Great game.
Chiefs at the Patriots, week 14. You've got that's a great game, right? You got Steelers at the Browns. Of course, they were going to have that anyhow, but that's a huge game in week 11. Packers at Bears right off the bat, week 1. Week 5 is another kind of highlight is Colts and Chiefs.
Say Patriots Steelers. I believe that's the first Sunday night football game.
Patriots at the Eagles, by the way, week 11.
That could be interesting.
That's a really good game, right?
Do you think Bucs Jags December 1st means something for both teams? Do you think that game, are they both still in it December 1st? You got 4 weeks to go after that, so that's game 12.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking,
got to evaluate both franchises.
I was doing
and both are kind of.
Well, now that the Jags have moved on at quarterback, yeah, I think so. They'll get a modicum of offense, certainly an improvement there, and they were deceptively good on defense last year. I know that the talking point was that they weren't.
Well, their will was broken too a little bit here and there.
Right. Like, how hard are you going to play when you've got that slappy running your offense? You're not going to be good enough. And so, yeah, I think their will was broken. I agree with you. I do. I think they'll both be in it. You said the first Sunday night game?
I believe that's Patriots and Steelers.
It is. 8:20, NBC, Pittsburgh at New England.
Because they got flexed out of Thursday. The NFL wanted to do for the 100th season the oldest NFL rivalry, which is Chicago and Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, the Thursday night game on NBC is Packers-Bears. That first full week slate, obviously you mentioned 49ers are at the Bucs. Got to start 1-0 there, kids. See, I'm doing it already. W's and L's. But, you got a divisional rivalry between the Giants and the Cowboys right off the bat. Steelers-Patriots highlight that week. I actually think Falcons at Vikings is probably one of the more intriguing games right off the bat, if those two teams are anywhere close to being right. Broncos are at the Raiders at 10 o'clock at night, that Monday night.
All right.
Great game there. Texans and Saints is the 7 o'clock Monday night game in week 1. So that's what you're looking at right off the bat.
That could have a lot of firepower. Okay.
Yeah.
Usually you hear Texans Saints, you're like, ugh, well, the Saints are going to roll.
Really?
That could be a little 38-35 special.
Well, you're going to make me do it now. I mean, we're going down that road. It's that time of year. We, by the way, are, and I don't know if you mentioned this when you were talking about our schedule, we're that Thursday night game.
Yes.
The following week, yes.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Both Carolina games are weird. You got a short week Thursday, and then you're out in London for the other game.
The highlight of week 2 is Washington and Dallas, perhaps classic rivalry. I would say Colts-Titans is a very good game. I know that doesn't interest you, but Chiefs-Raiders, Bears-Broncos maybe.
You're in week 2 now?
Week 2, Browns-Jets is the Monday Night Football game. Who would have thunk it? What are we doing there? But you know what?
Well, they're both not bad yet. That's smart. That's very smart.
Well, and they both have 2 quarterbacks that people are excited about. They want to see this.
But it hasn't fallen off the rails yet for either franchise. Get them in early. I like that.
The following Thursday night is Titans-Jags. Okay.
That's the annual 6-3 fest.
Man, that's a toughie. That Monday night for that week is Bears-Washington on Monday Night Football. That's fun.
Is that Titans-Jags game being played in Jacksonville or Tennessee? Because if it's in Jacksonville, that's where they play low-scoring games.
It's at Jacksonville.
Okay. So it's Derrick Henry, and then, that's it.
Yeah, you got Raiders-Vikings that week.
Weird. Okay.
Dolphins-Cowboys, Giants-Bucks, Steelers at the 49ers. Saints Seahawks. Okay. There we go.
You
Saints,
found one.
yeah,
You found one. Everything else is
I know,
pretty sorry.
Yeah, I could tell you weren't feeling it. Well, actually, on the same line of thinking about, the Cleveland Browns being the league's new darling, Rams-Browns is I love that game.
That's solid.
That's week 3. That's a great game, Rams-Browns. I do this even when I was a kid. I had all the little plastic helmets, okay? And I had them lined up on my windowsill in my bedroom. And they spanned from one window over from one wall over to the other window. And my room overlooked the corner of the street that we lived on, the pink streets there, Pinellas Point Drive. And I would stare at those helmets. There's something magical about NFL helmets. I don't know. Maybe just because you grew up identifying them, right? And when the schedule comes out, I go back to being a little kid, not because I'm giddy about the schedule, but just pairing the helmets in the different matchups. I used to take the helmets off the windowsill and try to find ones that if they were across from each other, would conjure some sort of intrigue that you'd go, you never see that. Like you always see Washington and Dallas. That's Bears and Packers. You've seen all those.
Lions, Bengals.
Eagles, Giants. Like you always saw certain matchups, right? I would take the Bucks and I'd get the creamsicle. Back then, it was a big deal to put the Bucks against the Bears, the Bucks against the Packers. That's what you did. Well, for some reason when I was going through this, seeing Rams and Browns in Cleveland struck me as incredibly interesting. Just look at those two helmets. You never see that matchup.
Here you go. Dallas, Kansas City. Ooh.
It's a good one.
Yeah, those are some helmets right there.
Speaking of Dallas, they'll be the Thursday night game, the Monday night game against the Saints. They did that a year ago.
So it's a return match, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That was the shocker. That was the Cameron special against the number.
I called the Cowboys. I did. I picked them to win that game, and I won a little money illegally.
Touchdown Cowboys.
That's right. I gambled.
It's another big play for the Cowboys.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Enjoy it. They laugh, they sing, they drink, they eat, and they celebrate all the goodness of the Gordo's deck.
And you can come have a Gordo Smash.
Delicious. Sitting on the deck with a Gordo Smash. That's a good day at the office.
Or put a Cuban in your mouth.
And other food. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Did you know that children with dedicated college savings are 2.5 times more likely to enroll in and graduate from college? We have a plan for that. For 30 years, Florida Prepaid has helped more than 1 million families like yours save for college. We offer a variety of affordable, flexible college plans to fit your budget and saving style. Open enrollment ends April 30th, so take the first step toward college savings for as little as $47 a month. Enroll today at myfloridaprepaid.com, because starting is believing.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
The Jeff Cameron Show podcast, available on demand at ESPNTallahassee.com and on iTunes today. The Jeff Cameron Show podcast is brought to you by Garnet and Gold of Tallahassee. When you buy FSU apparel, support local business. GarnetandGold.com.
And now, an ad from Mom.
Save money on your car insurance by bundling home and auto with Progressive. Hey, is it always this cold in here? It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me a bit. I just kind of curious because if it's the equipment or something, that's fine. It's just, woo, it's kind of chilly.
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
AAA Tree Experts has been a Tallahassee staple for over 35 years. But did you know they now offer landscaping? AAA landscaping services include custom outdoor landscape, creative landscape design and architecture, hardscapes, waterscapes, retention walls, and French drains, irrigation and sodding, landscape and holiday lighting. Call them today for all your outdoor landscaping needs. 850-385-3319 or visit them online at AAATreeExperts.net. AAA Tree Experts and Landscaping.
At Indeed, we believe a resume is a great way to see an overview of a candidate, but you're not hiring a resume, you're hiring a person. That's why we offer tools to give you a deeper sense of the people behind the paper, like skill tests, which let you actually see a candidate's abilities in action to make sure they're a good fit for the job. See beyond the resume with Indeed. Increase your visibility to great candidates with the free sponsored job upgrade on your first job posting at Indeed.com/promo. The sponsored job upgrade is a $50 sponsored job credit. Users are charged once the credit is spent or it expires. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Come to the Home Depot for a whole new take on tile. A surprising selection of the trends you want and prices you'll love. Retile a backsplash or a fireplace. Rethink a bath or a patio. Walls, floors, outdoors or indoors, tile is going places at the Home Depot. Come see where it takes you. Nobody beats our prices, guaranteed. On tile, on anything. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only.
Hendrick. It's the one race that everyone wins. Find new roads at the first annual Dale Earnhardt Jr. Race to 500. Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet has to sell 500 cars now through April 30th. So start your engines, hit the gas, and save big. Shop our huge selection of Chevrolet cars, trucks, and SUVs, and get the biggest savings of the year. Join the race that everyone wins. Visit either of our 2 Tallahassee locations or DaleEarnhardtJr.Chevy.com.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Field Yates reports the Panthers convert a little more than $9 million of linebacker Luke Kuechly's salary into a bonus. That creates more than $7 million in cap space this year. The NFL schedule is out, and the Cleveland Browns get 4 primetime games after their breakout 7-8-1 season a year ago. Over the last 10 years, no team has had fewer primetime games than the Browns, but that changes this year. Another college basketball coach drops out of the running for the St. John's job. Tim Cluess, the head coach at Iona for the last 9 years and who played 2 years for the Red Storm, isn't interested. He's at least the third coach to step away from the process since Chris Mullins stepped down last week. In the NBA playoffs tonight, 3 Game 3s. The 76ers play the Nets in Brooklyn, the Nuggets against the Spurs in San Antonio, the Warriors meet the Clippers in Los Angeles. All 3 of those series are tied at 1. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Capitals and Hurricanes with Washington leading 2-1. The Blues play the Jets in Winnipeg. That series tied at 2. And the Golden Knights try to finish off the Sharks in 5 games in San Jose.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
FSU baseball, after having turned it around over the weekend against Clemson in a big way, now have a big series on the road against Virginia. And I'm reminded, of course, of each one of these road trips being the last for Mike Martin in a particular stadium. And there have been some really nice things said. If you go to the local papers in these cities during this final season, you'll find a number of well-written articles and quotes from people who represent that program, usually their coach or a former player or somebody that's gone head-to-head with Mike Martin. And if it appeals to you, go find that stuff because it's good. I've read most of those and heard a lot of really descriptive and kind of historical references regarding why it is those players and coaches have such fondness for Mike Martin. It's been, I imagine, pretty touching for him. I can only imagine it's difficult. I know it was made that much more difficult by the fact they weren't winning games. Now they're winning. We'll see. That series was a big deal. And it's also why we didn't say it wasn't possible, because we've seen both the sport of baseball, but also in particular Florida State baseball, kind of put these moments together in the midst of terrible seasons. And no doubt, and terrible by their standards, no doubt Florida State was mired in a less than impressive campaign, and now all of a sudden you ask yourself the question after a 3-game sweep, well, will they go on the road, win this series? I think there's a distinct possibility. Virginia's not playing well right now. They just got swept at home by Miami. They're 8-10 in the ACC. If you win that series, look, you really do begin to breathe some life into the idea of a postseason run. I mean, again, they've got foibles. They have things they don't do well. They have things that we've watched that aren't just going to magically disappear, we don't think. But there is talent there, and a lot of it's very young. So the idea that those young players that are being counted on game to game, the freshmen in particular, so imagine a Nander Desadas having to adjust to conference play and the kind of pitching he was seeing, right? And Elijah Cabell, well documented, struggling to put bat to ball. They moved him down in the order. He's getting fastballs now, that kind of thing. But step by step, maybe they begin to adjust appropriately. They get buoyed by the success over the weekend, and maybe we begin to see more confident at-bats. That's the whole thing. They're still going to strike out because of their approach. They'll likely get walks because of their approach. And they do some things poorly, but they could also become a much better team just through experience because those young guys are growing up before our eyes. Maybe that's a bit over the top, but if they win this series, I'll begin to think that's entirely possible.
Well, it's a game. It's not unlike golf. It's just you have a lot of individuals. When you're talking about batting in particular, and I guess I fielded ground balls or fly balls too if you've got issues on defense. Confidence is just so key. It is in every sport, but for college athletes, when the margin is like it is for a college baseball player, a ball hit deep in the hole is short to an MLB shortstop, whatever, no big deal.
Right.
That is a routine out. To a college player, that's like hitting a 2-iron, for a golfer. It's just a very difficult thing to be able to do routinely. The plays in college baseball are tougher to make. The approach can be completely, you can pull out the rug from under somebody, and they could be befuddled and mired in the worst slump of their life. And it's just because college baseball players aren't typically as gifted as minor leaguers or pros. Some kids are, they decide to go have the college experience. But for most of them, confidence is just so damn key. And whatever they found this past weekend, if they can harness that, then, we've seen it. We saw it the year that we were holding the 5 a.m. practice. Where the hell did that team come from? Because it didn't resemble the one that we watched for the first 2 months of the season.
No, and they, A, got healthier, but B, also, like you said, found a way to find, to engender confidence. Something happened.
It wasn't just health.
No, it wasn't just health. No, they got healthy. They got healthier, true, but then they gained confidence. That's the whole thing. You're right. I bring this up a lot because my buddy Trey Jones, who I do the golf show with on Sirius, he talks about his kids that way. They're playing in the ACCs right now. I'm not giving anything away, but he talks about coaching, college golfers, who many of whom gone on to be great pros, obviously. And Daniel Berger's had a good first day here at the RBC. He's, I think, 5 under. Obviously, we know all about Brooks Koepka and so on and so on.
Much needed for Daniel.
Yeah, but he will talk about their time here and what they did or didn't do or what they possess. But he has said almost to a man, all of the players that improve and get to where they want to go, which is in their case the PGA Tour, And he said it's universally agreed upon by coaches in other sports. All of those guys somewhere along the way tap into the ability they possess, right? All the hard work, all the hours of training, all the muscle memory, all this. But the thing that keeps you back is whether or not you believe. And that's another way of describing confidence, like stepping over a ball, believing you're going to do what you intend to do with it. In this case, stepping into the batter's box and believing that you know, it's a fair match.
Well, I know that Major League scouts like to thumb their nose at the college game a lot. I think they're probably doing it less and less because the college game resembles the pro game with the way the bats are, at least somewhat, but the baseball certainly is. But I wonder if a minor league manager or coach could compare notes with a coach of a college team, because you're dealing with kids that are the same age, largely speaking, especially when you're talking about single-A ball. About these kids, wherever they come from, to come play at a place like Florida State, or if they're like in Binghamton, right, or they're playing NY Penn League ball, they have always been good their entire lives. And this is the first time in their life somebody can deny them. I mean, we learned this about Dwayne Bacon and Jonathan Isaac. And Isaac especially goes, he goes first round, and he's a lottery pick in the NBA. But you get to the collegiate level, it's the first time in your life that you really can't fall back on something you've always known. You've got to push forward and progress as a player. And I think what's happening with this team is a lot of guys were slumping at the same time, and they don't know what that's like. I mean, even if their team wasn't good, they were always good. So what happens? How do you respond to that at 18, 19 years old? And that's what a lot of this team, I think, has had to go through for much of this season. But it doesn't mean that they're going to answer it between now and the end of the year. They might not make the postseason. They might go back into a slump. But hopefully the Clemson weekend was the turn of the tide.
I would love for that to be the starter. I just want so much for this season to go well. I don't, listen, yes, in a dream world, we'd like the idea of Martin winning a national championship in his final season as he retires. But that is just it, right? It's a dream scenario. Even in the best set of circumstances where you had a fully loaded veteran team and a deep rotation, you still wouldn't put the percentages on that team winning a World Series. Baseball's a weird sport. You need some luck along the way, even if you're really good. But what I did want to see happen was certainly another 40-win season, another round of postseason play at Hauser. I wanted to see that at the very least. Give yourself a fighting chance. That's what this was about. Turning the season around, to me, is less about, hey, maybe now they'll go win the national title. It's give yourself a damn chance to get out there. I mean, to do something. And the path they were on, yes, we were rightfully talking about how they may not make the postseason.
Yeah. Hosting, don't even worry about that. You just got to get into the tournament.
Yeah, we were talking about, you got to make it, man. Your RPI's in the hundreds. Let's go. Hour number 2, fourth coming. Stay with.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
To support those who serve us daily. As a way of saying thank you, Jerry's is launching a new discount program for active and retired law enforcement, first responders, and military. Stop by and pick up your free discount card today at either of Jerry's 2 locations, one on Scherer Road or their new location on Cary Forest Parkway. Jerry's Famous Cigar Shop, online at jerrycigarshop.com.
At Indeed, we understand that when it comes to hiring, it's important to have a large talent pool to choose from. But sometimes too many good options can be overwhelming. That's why Indeed doesn't just give you access to a large pool of job seekers. We also offer screener tools that let you instantly narrow down your search. Hone in on hiring with Indeed. Increase your visibility to great candidates with the free sponsored job upgrade on your first job posting at Indeed.com/promo. The sponsored job upgrade is a $50 sponsored job credit. Users are charged once the credit is spent or it expires. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Napa know-how. This month, get a 5-quart jug of Napa full synthetic motor oil plus a Napa Platinum oil filter for $21.98. That's a pretty unbelievable deal. But trust us, it's totally real, but only for a limited time. So get Napa Full Synthetic and a Napa Platinum Oil Filter for $21.98 today. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa Know-How.
Napa Know-How.
General States pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer ends 4/30/19.
Did you know that 75% of high school seniors are accepted to their first choice college, but only about 50% of their parents can afford to send them? We have a plan for that. With a Florida prepaid college plan, you can start saving for as little as $47 a month. We offer a variety of affordable, flexible college plans to fit your budget and saving style. And you will never lose your investment because prepaid plans are guaranteed by the state of Florida. Enroll today at myfloridaprepaid.com because starting is believing.
Who's ready for the best wings in Tally and locally brewed beers? Hobbit American Grill is the place to be. They've been voted Tally's best wings again in 2018. Hobbit offers Bingo Mondays, happy hour all-day Fridays with craft beers on tap from all the local breweries. And the Hobbit is your home for all the UFC fights with plenty of high-def TVs for everyone. Be on the lookout for the food truck coming soon with the best lip-smacking wings in town. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving great food to great friends for good times. For info on their hours and 3 locations, visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
What a delight, people. What a delight that even though we had to suffer with Magic Johnson through his firing, he is now back on Twitter. And he came back in true Magic Johnson style. He came back with fire. Earvin Magic Johnson, back on Twitter, said of Saturday, one of the greatest sports weekends of our time. I've had a great Saturday watching the NBA playoff games. The Nets shocked the Sixers, and the Magic did the same to the Raptors. Golden State played like champs today. Welcome back, Magic Johnson. Your insight has been missed on basketball and elsewhere. I hope ESPN hires you so you could say things like that on our important telecast.
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios, this is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Field Yates reports the Panthers convert a little more than $9 million of linebacker Luke Kuechly's salary into a bonus. That creates more than $7 million in cap space this year. The NFL schedule is out, and the Cleveland Browns get 4 primetime games after their breakout 7-8-1 season a year ago. Over the last 10 years, no team has had fewer primetime games than the Browns, but that changes this year. Another college basketball coach drops out of the running for the St. John's job. Tim Cluess, the head coach at Iona for the last 9 years and who played 2 years for the Red Storm, isn't interested. He's at least the third coach to step away from the process since Chris Mullins stepped down last week. In the NBA playoffs tonight, 3 Game 3s. The 76ers play the Nets in Brooklyn. The Nuggets against the Spurs in San Antonio. The Warriors meet the Clippers in Los Angeles. All 3 of those series are tied at 1. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Capitals and Hurricanes with Washington leading 2-1. The Blues play the Jets in Winnipeg. That series tied at 2. And the Golden Knights try to finish off the Sharks in 5 games in San Jose.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. What did you just send me? We've got bad weather on the way? Horrific weather on the way?
Well, I mean...
Alert, alert.
Hopefully
no jokes
not.
aside. But
Hopefully not horrific. But yeah, I mean, there's a high probability of some serious storm activity coming through our direct area tomorrow morning early, 5 a.m. through 9 a.m. That's what the National Weather Service of Tallahassee is saying.
All right. Well, I knew if I didn't mention it now, I'd forget, and we need to do that. It's part of what we do.
Yeah, it's going to be this storm system's for real, people. The gusts of winds are estimated to be around 80 miles an hour with tornadoes possible. And they have, it looks like, a 6-point color scale, and this is 4 out of 6 on the severe side. So be aware, tomorrow morning could be really bumpy here.
Again, a reminder, we'll be doing this quite often as we all play GM from time to time as we try to look at the upcoming NFL draft. But our reminder is to you that 1 week from today, we'll be at Bumpus Local 349. Looking forward to seeing you guys out there as the draft party. How many draft parties have we been going to together, buddy? That's 10 years now?
Well, the infamous...
well, that's the most famous draft party. Mm-hmm. We don't have to relive that.
That was the first one I went to. That was, I think...
Welcome to the club, huh? That was fun.
Was that the 2010 draft? That was the Ndamukong Suh, Gerald McCoy, Tim Tebow draft.
The years, they fly by, and it's hard. You know what's weird to say about that? It's when you just name those three players. Obviously, Suh came into the league and started to dominate, and then rather drastically had stretches where he looked like he quit trying real hard, and then you never really knew what you're going to get out of him. But the name that stands out to me there is Gerald McCoy in this way. He's been in the league for 9 years.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem right.
So, and Suh wasn't even the first overall pick. Sam Bradford was the first pick that year. So I guess that was the last year of no rookie salary wage
Well,
scale.
And that's why Sam Bradford will always be remembered, because he's the last guy to come out and get paid a ludicrous sum of money. Now that, well, that's all relative, but now those contracts that you saw quarterbacks get that led to teams not wanting to have the number one pick and not wanting to draft a quarterback, knowing that if you got it wrong, you buried the rest of your franchise and your salary cap for what? The next 5 years, you were screwed. So the league rightfully did away with all of that, but he was the last to get really paid.
You know what the Bucks could have had?
Oh, geez, we're going to play that game?
Well, he went next, right after Gerald McCoy. Our friend, Trent Williams, the left tackle for the Washington
One of
Redskins
my favorites. You can
organization.
always play the clip. It never gets old.
That clip of Trent Williams is probably more famous than Gerald McCoy ever will be, really.
That clip of Trent Williams is all at once fearsome and hilarious.
Hey, what you gonna do, boy? I'm gonna punch you in your... Hey, do it then, boy.
It didn't take long.
We could have had him. You know what? We probably would have been better off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, that's what the draft does. The draft is this game where you go back in time and say, man, they could have had so-and-so. You do it for every team. We're all intrigued by that. You do it for every team. Well, they selected here. Who'd they take? They took this guy. Oh, well, they could have had this guy, and this guy.
Looks like, 14th in that draft. Seattle drafted Earl Thomas. That's a pretty good pick at 14.
Worked out well.
JPP went 15th overall in that draft to the Giants out of South Florida, as we well know. Couldn't get him in here. Unfortunately, would have made a difference, right?
We could literally not get him into school here, and then he almost single-handedly destroyed half our running backs in the game they played here. That was incredible. Guys running straight up inexplicably.
Yeah, we had Ty Jones on the goal line there. That was the hottest game I've ever been to here. Well, you know what? Last year we had one in the running, though. I forget which. Maybe it was Northern Illinois. There was one that was...
That was a night game. Was it Northern Illinois?
I think that was the Samford game.
I'm thinking of the kid at quarterback for Samford who was like the second coming of Joe Montana. That was ridiculous.
No,
Brett Favre.
Northern Illinois game was when the kid stepped out of bounds.
We got lucky.
Very important touchdown.
Very important, yeah. Golly, you're reminding me how close we came to losing other games, too.
Oh, yeah. We can go back and do this from 2017, too, buddy. We got the Wake game on the road, the Duke game on the road.
Yeah. I'll never forget the Duke game on the road because we came out and looked like a machine.
Mm-hmm.
Just marched right down the field, and we thought, well, where has this been? What a beautiful opening drive. And then silence. Then you're just holding on for dear life. Ridiculous.
With the 42nd pick in the 2010 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots selected Rob Gronkowski.
Got it right again, did they? Yeah, not bad. What pick was that?
42.
42, and they draft a Hall of Famer.
Yes, they did.
Son of a... It's just so disconcerting.
With the 133rd pick in the 5th round, the Seattle Seahawks selected Cam Chancellor.
Good choice.
That was a good choice.
Got that one right. Well, with the first pick in the 2019 draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Kyler Murray. That's going to happen, and it's stunning. He is... he's got to be the odds-on favorite. No, he is the odds-on favorite to be the first player drafted. And he played one season as a starting quarterback in college football, and he's 5'10" barely. It's shocking.
Last one here because it brings up a name I forgot to mention yesterday. With the 195th pick of the 2010 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers selected Antonio Brown, who I forgot to mention is an Oakland Raider yesterday.
Yeah, they do have somebody to throw to now.
When I was talking about Jared Cook, I was like, oh. And
Yeah.
I mentioned Antonio earlier in the segment.
You had. Well, you know what? What makes it so shameful on both of our parts is that you had, in fact, mentioned Antonio Brown, and then we engaged in the conversation, and at no point did I remember that you had mentioned Antonio. And I didn't go, hey, man.
Who are they going to throw to? What skill players do they have? Hey, man, the guy that they got for a 3rd and a 5th you talked about 6 minutes ago. Getting old sucks.
It is really strange, the stuff that went on in Pittsburgh. I am fascinated. We were talking about the schedules being released, and you saw some of the big matchups early on in the season, one of them involving the Steelers. And I have no idea what that team's going to look like this year, but I have to think that what we thought to be one of the most consistently sound and well-run organizations is in complete disarray. Because how is it that you have the caliber of players under contract that they did and watch them walk and get very little? I mean, it's crazy to me that could happen. What kind of dysfunction is going on there where the players, the money players, the big-time stars of your organization don't want to be there, and you're good with letting them go?
I think they were bursting at the seams with problems, and they were this close to winning. And maybe if they had won a Super Bowl all together, everything would have been okay. But then they just never did, and so the personalities collapsed onto themselves.
It's a great defensive draft. When we look ahead to a week from today, I think that I'm very intrigued to see who's going to make a move to get into that top 5 to grab a Quinnen Williams, a Nick Bosa? Does anybody make a trade? Does anybody do, beyond the Cardinals, who clearly are going to do something crazy and draft Kyler Murray? Does anybody else do something that you go, what? What? Who's the player that would be? Who's a guy that would entice? Like, maybe right now we're not talking about it. Would Ed Oliver be that guy? I don't know. It's hard to think of a player that would elicit those kinds of responses. Maybe the kid out of Mississippi State, the Montez Sweat kid. I don't know.
Well, going by, if you look at some of the mock drafts from about, 3-4 weeks ago, the experts, quote unquote, are split, which means that the buzz they're getting, they're split on who to go with past about pick 4 or 5 when you're talking about the next best available defensive end or rush end or 3-4 defensive end, all that stuff. There's some guys like Sweat could appear at 7 in one mock draft from one expert.
Yeah.
And you respect that guy. It might be an NFL Network guy. And then another one, it might be 21.
Yeah, it's strange.
Same thing with Oliver.
There's just so much defensive talent here. You feel like teams are going to really the Bears found a linebacker in year 1 that made a big difference. You go around the league, linebackers and ends, a lot of times teams get that right, more so than they do, obviously, quarterback. And I think the Bucs have a perfect situation on their hands to draft Devin White with the 5th pick. The rumors out of Tampa, though, is that they're also looking at Oliver. And I don't really like that rumor. I'm okay with Devin White because I'm going to get a 240-pound man who loves to play football. He's instinctual as an inside linebacker. He had, in 2018, he had 123 tackles. In 2017, he had 133 tackles, 4.5 sacks, 14 tackles for loss, a pick, a bunch of passes broken up. He's a wrecking ball. And I think he's pretty close to a can't miss prospect.
Yeah, and if you're going to run a 3-4, that's the hard part here.
Would you take Christian Wilkins? Would you take,
if you trade back? Not at 5.
No, not at 5.
I don't know. I feel like if you just go by what people are saying, and they can be dead wrong, but Devin White or Sweat probably would be your picks at 5. And if you trade back, you can bring into the conversation a Wilkins or a Farrell or an Oliver, or you know what I mean? Like at that point, you could start to weigh options elsewhere. But if you just go by the consensus of what the scouts are saying, nah, it's going to be at 5, Devin White or maybe a guy like Sweat.
I really wonder what Ed Oliver is at the next level, because we're connected to him, as are a lot of teams in that general area of the draft.
Well, are we playing a 4-3 or a 3-4 first of all, right? And so that changes things.
He's 6'1", 287 pounds, which is incredibly undersized to be a defensive tackle. And what is he as an edge rusher? Do you see what is
ESPN's got him listed, Oliver, at 6'3", 292. Just in case.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at his size right now. I looked him up intentionally because a lot of people were talking to him about him being undersized. So
let me pull up the combine so we can get a true
let's
answer.
get an accurate answer there. It matters. And that's, again, you're just trying to eliminate risk. Every time we talk about this, we know there aren't sure things here. I mean, I think Bosa is probably a sure thing, but
6'2".
Okay.
6'2", 287 from the combine.
Okay.
I would like to have seen 6'3" there.
Yes, for his sake, you certainly would have.
He's got a 36-inch vertical, Jeff, which is so useful.
Well, they'll talk about him being an incredible athlete. He is an incredible athlete. I mean, they talk about. I've read 6 different write-ups on a scouting report with him, and everybody talks about him being, they love to throw in lines, quick twitch, and all that. And that's
the first step off the line.
First
that
step
kind of
off
thing.
the line. Yeah, that's what.
You could see where if you're running a 3-4, you could pair him with a Vita and just let Vita plug and then let him disrupt. But, I mean, if you're running a 3-4, you probably need linebackers first.
So let me ask you this, because here's the intrigue. It's not with the quarterbacks, like I said yesterday. It's really more with who gets what defensively. That's where all the stars seem to line up. Would San Francisco not take Bosa if obviously Arizona goes quarterback? And if they don't take him and they take, say, Quinnen Williams, which is a possibility, they've been linked to liking him as well. Let's say they took him. What would the Jets do? A lot of people believe that
It's an annual question.
Well, here's the thing. The Jets are in a perfect position to trade down for a team that wants a quarterback. And I'll be very curious if Bosa fell in their laps, would they just take him? I would think probably, right? Or would they trade the pick and go down? I'm trying to get Bosa to the Bucs. I wanted to give you my angle here. I'm trying desperately to get. Because the Raiders.
So you want Murray, Haskins, and then like Josh Allen, Quinnen Williams, and then Bosa's available at 5?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't think that happens.
Well,
I think
Josh
at 2
Allen,
somebody might.
The Raiders love Josh Allen.
Yeah, but somebody may trade up to go get Bosa at that point at 2.
I sure would like somebody that could get after the passer with a great regularity. I
would too, but I just, again, broken record. I want to know what the hell Bowles is going to run here. If we're running a 3-4, you need a second guy to work with David.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're running a 4-3, maybe you can get away with it. But you got JPP in the short term. What do you need most given our personnel?
You need the linebacker.
I think so.
Yeah, if you got lucky, if Bosa fell into your lap,
you might have to take him.
If he's sitting, if you're at 5 and he comes there, he falls there, you take him. You have to.
You may have to.
He's a freak.
The funny thing is I wish we were probably 1 pick more removed from the Giants, because then you may be able to leverage a quarterback pick with the Giants. But if you're 1 slot ahead, I mean, it's been done before, but I mean, you got to do a great sales pitch in order to get them to move up 1 spot and to give you something of note.
I'd like to do that. I could trade down. We got enough quality players at positions that we need.
But they would never fear us taking a quarterback is the problem.
No. Christian Wilkins.
It's funny how the Clemson front 4 isn't really, up in the top consensus 5 to 10 picks, right?
No. Do you think you could trade down and get Devin White?
You mean Devin Bush? I don't know how far for Devin White?
10th?
I don't know.
It's close.
I don't think so.
Close. Woo.
That'd be fun.
NFL Draft Talk is fun. Jeff Cameron Show 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
$1,000 over Kelley Blue Book, and Kraft Nissan will include 2 years or 20,000 miles free maintenance when you mention this ad. Kraft Nissan, where you can stack huge discounts, huge rebates, special interest rates, and $1,000 extra for your trade. It all equals the best price and the lowest monthly payments in town. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is the Jeep headquarters of America. We've purchased over 100 Jeep Renegades, and they've all arrived and are on the lot for immediate delivery. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude with MSRP starting at $25,120, on sale now for $18,870. That's a savings of $6,250. A new Jeep starting at only $18,870. Those prices are unheard of and can only be found at your Jeep headquarters of America, Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. No other dealer can offer you this kind of savings. We buy in mass quantities and pass along the savings to you. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude, starting at $18,870. Payments as low as $299 a month. On the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Check us out on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. All prices include rebates and incentives plus tax, title, and dealer fee. State number 18J605. Must finance through Chrysler Capital and qualify for all rebates and incentives.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
At Indeed, we understand that when it comes to hiring, it's important to have a large talent pool to choose from. But sometimes too many good options can be overwhelming. That's why Indeed doesn't just give you access to a large pool of job seekers. We also offer screener tools that let you instantly narrow down your search. Hone in on hiring with Indeed. Increase your visibility to great candidates with the free sponsored job upgrade on your first job posting at Indeed.com/promo. The sponsored job upgrade is a $50 sponsored job credit. Users are charged once the credit is spent or it expires. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
In 2019, our Atlanta Braves are looking to defend their National League East title, and we'll bring you every play from this epic season.
And a drive to right field. That ball is tagged. That ball is gone into the Chubb house. Ozzie Albies strikes back.
Atlanta Braves baseball on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you by Fonville Lewis Messer and McConaughey, Bagel Market Bistro, and by Early Trucking Company in Arlington, Georgia.
Take me out to the ball game. Indeed. And with weather like this, it's good to see you out on this magnificent, sizable deck. It is quite impressive. You can see it all the way from the stadium. What a deck. What a deck indeed. I hear that a lot. You know, I remember, what was it, mid-90s you opened up? Place was so small. Now it's huge. All I know is a lot of good times have been spent on this deck. Man, people enjoy it. They laugh, they sing, they drink, they eat, and they celebrate all the goodness of the Gordo's deck. And you can come have a Gordo Smash. Delicious. Sitting on the deck with a Gordo Smash. That's a good day at the office. Or put a Cuban in your mouth. And other food. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
You know, one thing we haven't talked about in all this draft talk and who's moving where and what. Did you see there was an article, an anonymous agent understanding the cap hit in all of this, talking about what would the Cardinals have to do and how would it affect them. Of course, Rosen signed a fully guaranteed 4-year rookie contract worth just under $17.6 million. Think about how little that is compared to the aforementioned
Sam Bradford. 2010, the last guy to get in there.
What was that contract?
I'll pull it up.
Pull up Sam Bradford's contract because this is peanuts compared to that contract. Rosen, of course, this is a fully guaranteed contract. Bradford's was not, I don't believe.
6 years, $78 million, of which $50 million was guaranteed.
Wow. Well, Rosen's contract was 4 years, $17.6 million.
It also had, with incentives, an upward value of $86 million, potentially.
Jesus.
86.
And he's cashed in several times over.
Yeah, he got the second one.
He got the second one. And he's not even any good. That's the other part of it. A signing bonus for Rosen a year ago was nearly $11 million, $10.9 million. He's scheduled to make just over $1.279 million on a salary cap number of $3,999,491 this year. It would be unprecedented in the salary cap era, which goes all the way back to 1994 now, for a first-round quarterback to be traded before his second season. We've never seen it. It's most certainly going to happen. I would note that the Cardinals did a poor job of masking their intentions. The head coach, your now head coach, told the world when he was at Texas Tech that he would draft Kyler Murray number 1 if he was the head coach with that pick. So we know how he feels about him. And then the GM, when asked at the Combine about their situation, didn't stand behind Rosen. Just gave the old, he's our quarterback, quote-unquote, for now. This is, you never see this sort of thing. I think if I were a Cardinals fan, I would be slightly uncomfortable with how silly my franchise has acted here.
They really don't understand the tenets of leverage, do they?
No. I mean, you have given it all up. Arizona's cap charge for Rosen would be more than double to $8,158,779 by trading him. The signing bonus proration from Rosen's 2020 and 21 contract years would accelerate onto this year's cap. The Cardinals would have essentially given Rosen just a little bit less than $11.5 million for 1 year to do nothing, really. And that's 64% of the total value of the contract. They've got it. They're giving him a lot of that contract to get rid of him.
They must really want Kyler Murray.
Golly. And now the Cardinals would like to get a first-round draft pick for it because that's the question we keep asking is, what do you think he can get? What do you think the trade value is? Could you get a first-rounder? He wasn't good last year. He was on a terrible team, so that it's not all his fault. But the bottom line is he completed just 55% of his passes. That was 32nd in the NFL. That's terrible. He had more interceptions than touchdowns. He had a passer rating of 66. That was last in the National Football League. So you're going to use that in negotiations with the Cardinals as leverage. It's, again, not all his fault. He was on a terrible team, the worst offensive line in football, injuries galore. There wasn't a lot he could do. He was a rookie.
You're going to use it as leverage, and you're going to say, by the way, we saw your promo video. Great work. You have no intention of having him on your roster come opening day. So how about this fifth-rounder that we're going to send you? And we'll make sure it's an early fifth-rounder. How do you like that?
What are you getting if you get Rosen? We don't know. I think he's going to be good. The Cardinals graded out, according to Pro Football Focus, as having the worst offensive line in the league, and it wasn't close. Like, they were horrible, and he took an ass beating. In addition to trying to learn how to play in the NFL, where the game is faster, et cetera, and rookies typically struggle quite a bit, and he did. And it got worse once the season got out of control. I think he had some veteran players quit on him. But we forget about this. He went through a midseason offensive coordinator change. Mike McCoy got fired, and they brought in a new guy.
Yeah, Leftwich was calling plays for them.
I mean, yeah, it's
that's why he's doing it for Arians now this year.
You know, I'm going back and looking at David Johnson's numbers from 2 years ago compared to last year. He was horrible last year, and he was everybody's fantasy pick, and the Cardinals, good Lord. So if he were coming out to be drafted this year, in essence, Rosen, let's evaluate what his college career was. You'll scrap all of year one. Now, you won't if you're negotiating with them for a trade, but I think we can just attribute that to an absolute mess of a situation.
He might be the first quarterback off the board this year.
That's what I was just about to ask you. Would you value him as the number one pick in the draft?
I don't think, well, it's a two-part answer. I don't think he would be valued as the number one in the draft, but I think I would, yeah. The mock drafts would have him in the top 10. They all would.
The reason it's important to know this is because, in essence, that's what you're doing. He's part of the quarterback pool. So if you're a team that wants to trade up to get a quarterback, you could just make the trade to get Rosen.
For, what, a second or a third? Yeah.
So I find that fascinating. I mean, that's a cool aspect of all
1 year you get him for 30 picks, better.
Well, and remember, the contract's already taken care of.
That's pretty nice, and it's a 3-year installment, so we can go through this 3-year experiment. I don't have to worry about that fourth.
I would do it. Well, I would do it if I were the Giants. See, if I were the Giants, I'd bring him in and let him sit maybe behind Eli
Trade
for
your
a
second
year.
and use your sixth pick on a badass on defense.
Yep. I like it,
now
buddy.
You're rolling.
That's the way to do it right there.
If only they had a game-breaking receiver.
Who's gonna do the what did the Giants do in the offseason? Good Lord. Who's gonna do the trading? What about the Dolphins?
What about if Oakland got rid of Carr and then they went and got Rosen?
Well, I don't think they're not gonna.
They're nuts.
They're not gonna do that.
Here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Or office. So sign up for free today at easylaundry.net, or you can give them a call, 850-597-9007. Again, sign up today at easylaundry.net. Oh, and by the way, I got you. Use promo code JCS20 and save 20%. That's promo code JCS20. You're saving 20% on your first order. That's easylaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
Hurricane Michael was not kind to many of our homes and businesses. As I ride through Tallahassee, the blue tarps and missing shingles are abundantly visible. While a few missing shingles may seem like minimal damage, I assure you they are not. Leaks can occur, causing wood decay, interior damage, or mold growth within your home or business. We specialize in storm damages and insurance claims. Let us get your roof back to shedding water, not leaking water. Call us today. We can help. At T-Spark Enterprises, we conquer all peaks.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
Today at Whataburger, we're cooking the sweet and spicy bacon burger.
You can't beat it. It's hot, it's fresh.
The sweet and spicy bacon burger is my all-time favorite.
I love this burger. It's just perfect.
2 beef patties, 2 different types of cheese, caramelized onions. My favorite thing about this burger is the sweet and spicy pepper sauce and the bacon.
The sweet and spicy bacon burger is an all-time favorite at Whataburger.
That's happiness.
Hendrick,
It's the one race that everyone wins. The first annual Dale Earnhardt Jr. Race to 500. Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC has to sell 500 cars now through April 30th. So start your engines, hit the gas, and save big. Shop our huge selection of Buick and GMC cars, trucks, and SUVs, and get the biggest savings of the year. Join the race that everyone wins. Visit either of our 2 Tallahassee locations or Dale Earnhardt Jr. BuickGMC.com. We are professional grade.
Napa know-how.
This month, get a 5-quart jug of Napa Full Synthetic Motor Oil plus a Napa Platinum Oil Filter for $21.98. That's a pretty unbelievable deal. But trust us, it's totally real, but only for a limited time. So get Napa Full Synthetic and a Napa Platinum Oil Filter for $21.98 today. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General states pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer ends 4/30/19.
The Seventh Hill Tap Room on Appalachia Parkway is Tallahassee's premier location to try out the best craft brews from the state of Florida. With 14 self-service taps activated by cutting-edge technology, you can try as little or as much as you like from their full menu. The Seventh Hill is a proud home of international soccer, opening early for every Arsenal game. They're also open by request for your favorite club, too. Just see Sharon behind the bar. Whether it's a happy hour deal, Sunday brunch with $3 mimosas and a food truck, or time to catch up with friends over a board game, darts, or shuffleboard, Tallahassee's premier spot to enjoy local and Florida craft brews is the Seventh Hill Tap Room. 2475 Appalachia Parkway, right underneath the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Field Yates reports the Panthers convert a little more than $9 million of linebacker Luke Kuechly's salary into a bonus. That creates more than $7 million in cap space this year. The NFL schedule is out, and the Cleveland Browns get 4 primetime games after their breakout 7-8-1 season a year ago. Over the last 10 years, no team has had fewer primetime games than the Browns, but that changes this year. Another college basketball coach drops out of the running for the St. John's job. Tim Cluess, the head coach at Iona for the last 9 years and who played 2 years for the Red Storm, isn't interested. He's at least the third coach to step away from the process since Chris Mullin stepped down last week. In the NBA playoffs tonight, 3 Game 3s. The 76ers play the Nets in Brooklyn, the Nuggets against the Spurs in San Antonio, the Warriors meet the Clippers in Los Angeles. All 3 of those series are tied at 1. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Capitals and Hurricanes with Washington leading 2-1. The Blues play the Jets in Winnipeg. That series tied at 2. And the Golden Knights try to finish off the Sharks in 5 games in San Jose.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. What shampoo are you using these days? That dome is extra shiny today. That from Goofenberg on Twitter. Hashtag a-hole. Well, I shaved it this morning. I shaved my head this morning. And so it does have a little extra shine.
Hashtag a-hole.
For those that aren't bald, I will answer the bald man questions. Yes, even though you're bald, you still wash your hair. Well, your scalp.
Yeah, but do you use soap or shampoo?
I use like a body wash and scrub the hell out of it with a loofah to get the dead skin.
Mm-hmm.
I get it all around the dome. Now, if I grow my hair out, because I actually do have hair, if I grow my hair out, and it's more than just stubble. It's like you could feel their hairs.
It's a follicle.
Yes. Then I use shampoo. I'll just take whatever my wife's shampoo is and do my hair. I also, just while we're talking about habits here, since it came up on the Twitter, I also, and I've said this, and it strikes people as incredibly odd, and I don't know, it bothers them. People are almost upset by it. I brush my teeth in the shower. I'm one-stop shop. I'm not screwing around. It's time to go. My morning routine features the toothbrush being in the shower in a safe place where it can't be subject to
mold, and the grime.
all that stuff. No. It's a safe little thing that I bought for the shower specifically, for a razor, also for a toothbrush. It's this little thing. I've got a mirror in the shower that is steam resistant, so you can still see. And I shave.
Steam resistant mirror.
It's incredible. Yeah, you got to put warm water in the back of the thing, and you stick it onto your shower wall, and it stays. And by putting the warm water on there, it doesn't steam up. And then you can shave. I shave in the shower. I brush my teeth in the shower. I do it all. By the time I'm out of the shower, I'm done here. I'm good to go.
I've gone through some phases with the old brush of the teeth in the shower. It is pretty efficient. Especially if you don't have a tub shower, if you've got like a dedicated shower.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm that way, but I have always, ever since I made the switch to the toothbrush in the shower, there's just no going back. At least to start your day. Now, at the end of the day, obviously, I have to brush my teeth in a sink like everybody else.
Do you have a bench in the shower?
I do not have a
seat?
bench. That'd be cool, but I don't have one.
Some people, they swear by it if they have like the little bench in the shower.
They just sit down in the shower?
Well, I think they use it to, so they can
get crevices
to places and stuff. Yeah, but people swear by, you got to have the bench in the shower.
I've never used a bench in the shower. I don't know. That would be awkward. I love showers. I'm a shower man. I'll take 2 a day, sometimes more. I love them. Let's say I go to Orange Theory. I'm done. So, but here's where I'm weird. I need clean sweat. I'm a weird guy this way.
Clean sweat?
Yeah, I take a shower before I go work out.
What?
Yeah, all the time. So I'm going to Orange Theory tomorrow morning. And obviously when you're at Orange Theory, you are sweating. I mean, you're getting after it. I will wake up and take a shower immediately, and then an hour later, I head to the gym. I head to Orange Theory.
No, that's like a bonus. So if I've got a morning workout, it's it's an 8:30 workout or whatever.
You like the bonus? You got grime and sleep and all the
It's
the
like
oils.
You know what? I don't have to hop in the shower right away because I got a workout coming in.
That's the kind of love I have for showers. I want to be in the shower. It's not like I don't say I have to shower. I'm like, woo, I get to shower. I enjoy a good shower. I'm just letting you know I shower before and then I shower after. So I have 2 showers before noon.
That is bizarre.
Yeah, I do. Well, I can't come straight into work after.
Well, of course not.
Yeah.
Well, you could. You're in your own room.
Yeah, I mean, I could.
You
Yeah.
could.
I mean, there's no dress code here, obviously. I could do what I want, but yeah, I go work out and then I shower again.
Huh. I've never heard of that.
And then if I do anything else later in the day, say you and I go play golf or something, I'll shower again that night.
Now, I have showered before a workout, but that might be because the day before I played golf, and so I might have some of the the sunblock still on. It's like, all right, I got to get rid of that before I don't want to stink like copper tone.
No.
While I'm sweating and working out. So I'm going to do the right thing by people. But no, on a standard day, I'm going to wait till I'm done with the workout to get the maximum value for my shower.
At Jay Cameron Show, as we move on from the shower talk. If Nick Bosa is there, the Bucs staff needs to run to the podium and take him before they're tempted to do something stupid like move down and draft a kicker. Ah! Yeah, it's good. Some of the reaction following Bosa's showing at the NFL Combine and where he could fall in the first round on April the 25th. This is an original report dating back to March 3rd. Nick Bosa, at 266 pounds, posted a 1.60 on his first 10-yard split. That number is alongside Von Miller and Jadeveon Clowney. It's one tick slower. They did a 1.59. He did a 1.60.
Well, that's a huge 100th of a second. I just don't know.
So think about my guy here. He is the explosiveness of a Von Miller at 266 pounds. I would sprint to that podium. Oh, I might get teary-eyed at Bumpa's Local 349.
You want to trade up is what you want to do.
Well, he's the best player in the draft. I mean, I don't want to trade up and get him, but I'd love him if he somehow fell to us. He's not going to. But, geez, what
What if Arizona took him and
What
they
a
said it's all
coup.
been a ruse because we were trying to find a max deal that we could get?
Well, then the Raiders might take Kyler Murray. They're dumb enough to probably do that, right? That'd be at number 4. Hey, that's fine. I mean, I want as many teams as possible to be fighting for quarterbacks because then let the defensive talent fall to the Bucs. Let's have our pick of the litter, man.
Well, yeah, you just hope that Kyler goes in the top 4 because that pushes a better player to us.
He's going to go to Arizona because they're dumb.
You think it'd be fun in a way, even though you know that you're going to do something stupid, to be a Raiders fan on draft day and just say, we could do anything. Like, we could do anything.
Yeah. Well, you might say that. You might think it's cool, except for when you look back at the last post-Super Bowl.
Darius Hayward-Bay.
You got a bunch of, what are they doing?
We could do anything. Anything could happen today.
If you need a quarterback, man, hang tight till Trevor Lawrence comes out, okay? That's what you do. You make do until you can get Trevor Lawrence.
Convince ownership, hey, man, listen, we don't have a guy. I'm not going to go push it now, but I need a word from you. I need your word. Handshake deal. You got to give me at least a couple years after I get Lawrence. So just put up with me now, but then we're gonna time this tank perfectly.
If you're
there is no draft lottery.
Yeah. Golly, if you're the Giants and you've got to move on from Eli Manning and you have serious questions about any of these quarterbacks, which you would. Even Haskins, whom we like, he's not Trevor Lawrence in a couple years. I mean, he's the best of this bunch, we think. You and I do. There are those certainly who disagree. That's fine, but I don't think anybody disagrees on the fact that it's a weak quarterback class. There are plenty that are going to go, but this isn't hey, there are 4 guys here that are can't miss. We've seen draft classes like that.
Out of respect to the Cardinals, has the conversation now shifted officially from they're crazy from taking him or the evaluations of Kyler Murray, the quarterback? Mm-hmm. Have they just been thrown to the side because they just we know the Cardinals are going to do this thing? Like, you know how sometimes an NFL draft analyst will try to explain why and why it's illogical and a good pick? And you're like, stop trying so hard, man. This is just a dumb pick. But I don't hear much of that. I don't hear much about Kyler Murray, the football player, in terms of evaluation. I've done some digging. There really isn't much talk about evaluation. It's more about, are the Cardinals going to do it or not?
Well, they are going to do it. I think that video that came out says that. I mean, they're going to do it. But here's the thing.
But usually it's an argument about, can this guy play? And I don't really hear that much. I just hear he's going to Arizona. That's it. That's all the talking points are.
I think it's an accepted risk that they are going to try to do something that, A, really hasn't been done with a guy of this stature, this small. And B, that they are all in on completely revamping their offense. And that's another reason Rosen can't survive, because he's a pocket under center guy, and they are going to listen. Kyler Murray is barely 5'10". You cannot put him under center. So they're going to be a shotgun spread team, and they're going to embrace basically his offense at Oklahoma. They're going to embrace what he did there, and because they saw him wow there against Big 12 defenses, but they saw that, they then think that it will translate. It's a grand experiment. Look who they hired as coach. Their head coach had a losing record in college. There was nothing about that man's resume that said, yep, that's the guy I want to have to run my NFL franchise. So they're going all in on an experiment, which is fine. If you're going to do something, you got to do it. You can't just decide to be half-assing. You got to go all in. Well, they're all in. And so, listen, his coaching tenure is dependent on whether or not this experiment in Kyler Murray can translate in the NFL. I don't think it's going to work. I'm on the record of saying I think it's going to fail miserably. But who knows? The one thing that gives me pause is that the NFL is trending more towards these kinds of offenses than they've ever been before.
I just thought for sure when I watched the Alabama-Oklahoma game in the college football playoff, I thought that was the disqualifier to all this talk. I thought it might push them closer to baseball.
You know why it didn't? The one throw.
He climbs the pocket and fires a seed.
It was magic.
It was.
And it was a beautiful pass. It was the best pass of the night.
You know who lived off of one throw a lot? Jay Cutler. It's like 1 out of 20. But that one, oh, my God.
No, I'm with you, man. No, Jay Cutler was a much better prospect.
You talking about throw?
No.
Like if you just needed somebody to make a throw.
Well, he had a cannon. I mean, he it's like Jeff George had a cannon.
Then you got to play the rest of the game.
Yeah, there's other aspects to the position, yes. Again, I always have to put this caveat out there because I feel bad. I'm rooting for that kid to do well. I don't have anything against Kyler Murray. And to me, if you can have diversification of offense in the league, that's a good thing. I want to see different styles succeed because I get tired of cookie cutter. But the league always seems to come back eventually to your standard pocket passer winning Super Bowls. We'll see. Kansas City could be a test for this.
Well, the argument, they got a guy who's a lot taller too.
A lot taller.
He's a lot better at everything, I think.
Oh, that's not close.
Oddly, and he went to Texas Tech. That's the weird part. But, the argument you make for it, sticking in the NFL, this style is, if that's the product that they keep getting from college, then the NFL has no choice. What are they going to do? Start picking from, MAC schools and go getting pocket passers? Because everything that you're getting from the Power 5 looks more like this.
It's affected the offensive line play, though, because those guys that are running those systems in college don't have experience of doing what they need to do when they get to the league. The blocking schemes are very different than that in the NFL. And so, obviously, the Nelsons of the world are out there, but he played at Notre Dame. So they were very much a standard pro-style offense.
I feel like just how Florida State football, all conversations end with the offensive line, and they will for months more. With the NFL draft, every segment is going to come to some conclusion with Quentin Nelson being involved in the mix.
Well, from now until he goes to the Hall of Fame, which will happen, you'll want to be sitting next to me when we watch him get ushered into the Hall of Fame.
You're going to cover it. You're going to go to Canton to cover his induction. I just know it.
I'll get weepy-eyed. I believed in you way back, son.
And you'll have a Buccaneers Nelson jersey on, a custom Nelson Bucs jersey.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. That's
Sorry, boy.
It's right here. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Town. Centrale offers 50% off select pizzas all day, every Thursday. Or you can stop by Township for Taco Thursday. $2 house tacos, $2. Madison Social offers the Social Agreement. You and a buddy can split 1 order of wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday College Town deals right now on ThursdaysInCollegetown.com.
Jerry's Famous Cigar Shop is proud to support those who serve us daily. As a way of saying thank you, Jerry's is launching a new discount program for active and retired law enforcement, first responders, and military. Stop by and pick up your free discount card today at either of Jerry's 2 locations, one on Scherer Road or their new location on Cary Forest Parkway. Jerry's Famous Cigar Shop, online at jerrycigarshop.com.
Who's ready for the best wings in Tally and locally brewed beers? Hobbit American Grill is the place to be. They've been voted Tally's best wings again in 2018. Hobbit offers Bingo Mondays, happy hour all day Fridays with craft beers on tap from all the local breweries. And the Hobbit is your home for all the UFC fights with plenty of high-def TVs for everyone. Be on the lookout for the food truck coming soon with the best lip-smacking wings in town. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving great food to great friends for good times. For info on their hours and 3 locations, visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Let me tell you, Nissan has hit it out of the park this month with huge rebates and special interest rates. You get both, and it's on all 2019 Altimas, Maximas, and Muranos. So listen to this. 2019 Altimas, $5,000 off and 2.9% interest for 60 months. 2019 Maximas, $5,000 off and 1.9% interest for 60 months. And 2019 Muranos, $5,000 off and 0.9% interest for 60 months. Seriously, over 100 2019 Altimas, Maximas, and Muranos in stock are $5,000 off, and they all have 0% interest. You get both. Plus, all trades are $1,000 over Kelley Blue Book, and Kraft Nissan will include 2 years or 20,000 miles free maintenance when you mention this ad. Kraft Nissan, where you can stack huge discounts, huge rebates, special interest rates, and $1,000 extra for your trade. It all equals the best price and the lowest monthly payments in town. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
Escúchame, it is Dan Le Batard on ESPN Radio. And finally, a botched microblading procedure left a Missouri woman with 4 eyebrows. Oh, I'd like 4 eyebrows.
Why would you like 4 eyebrows?
I don't know. It would be a unique and different look, but not one that would completely destroy you in terms of looks. You know what I'm saying?
All right, we bring in an authority on eyebrows. Scott Van Pelt is known throughout the land to know some of the best, that he's got some of the best in the history of ESPN. Do you agree with Stugatz's assessment that 4 eyebrows would be better than 2 eyebrows?
No, I think that would be off-putting to people. I think they'd stare at you in a way that would be disarming.
But he'd be different. He'd be, hey, the guy with 4 eyebrows is on around the horn.
A lot of ways you can be different. I think 4 eyebrows is probably not the route I'd go.
Taking it a little bit too far.
It's certainly the easiest.
That's true.
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Big store pricing with local service. Online at ctf.nu.
Were you surprised to see Jim Nantz say that the Tiger Woods Masters win was the best event that he has ever covered? Given that we don't suspect they like each other.
Well, it's the right thing to say because he has the PGA coming up next in May.
Oh, he's nothing if not professional, sir. I know that. But I'm just saying he went out of his way to say that he thought that was the best event that he's ever covered. I bring this up because that surprised me, A. B, the Butler Cabin interviews are terrible. They're horrible. It's every time I see one, I get uncomfortable. It is unsettling. He's really trying very hard to get people to cry in a way that goes above and beyond.
Oh, and it's so transparent. You got to be, kind of nifty to find a way in and out. He didn't start covering the Masters until, apparently, and I don't know if he was a whole host, for 16, 15, whatever, 1989. So he didn't cover Jack in 86. So maybe he's thinking about him. This is my best Masters that I've ever called.
Well, but he said best event he's ever covered. Of course, he covers college basketball and all
Super
that.
Bowls.
Yeah, I mean, he does this best event he's ever covered.
Man, he had Nova, North Carolina. It doesn't get any better than that.
That was an incredible finals game, but I have to admit, I think Tiger surpasses that. That Sunday at Augusta is something we're never going to forget. We've already forgotten to some extent about you're not walking around ever thinking about Villanova and North Carolina's championship game. It was a great game.
Sure. I mean, I don't know. If Tiger holed out on 18 to win, because that's kind of what or made a 30-footer to win.
It was a great championship game, but that was because of the quality of play. Yes, the dramatic ending, but I don't know. I think of Villanova, Georgetown, NC State, Houston, and things like that. I don't know.
I think it's mostly because he called it. He's just thinking of himself.
Yeah, he is. Final hour, forthcoming. Stay with.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
by April 30th. Visit SeminoleSoccerCamps.com now for more information and to register.
At Hardee's, we change deals forever. Deals used to be a way to get rid of the unpopular stuff. Well, Hardee's thinks deals should sell the best stuff for $2.49, which is why this Hardee value serves up a juicy charbroiled bacon double cheeseburger, our hot ham and cheese, or hand-breaded chicken in our Southern-style tender sandwich, each for only $2.49. One day, historians will look back on this Hardee value as a turning point for deal variety and quality. Historians like to make a big deal out of big deals. Hardee's, because it tastes better.
Offer available for a limited time after regular breakfast hours at participating Hardee's restaurants. Price and participation may vary. Tax not included.
Hi, this is David at Deep South Kawasaki. Springtime is here and Deep South Kawasaki needs to clean house. So choose any new Kawasaki 2019 Brute Force ATV or any new motorcycle in stock and Deep South Kawasaki will pay the tax. That's correct. Huge discounts on all new ATVs and lots of motorcycles. So don't miss out and let the good times roll. Deep South Kawasaki located on US 19 South in Thomasville.
Read owner's manuals and all on-product warnings. Kawasaki ATVs with engines of 90 cc's and above are recommended for use by persons 16 years of age and older. Kawasaki also recommends that all ATV riders take a training course.
Yuengling Golden Pilsner, a highly sessionable beer, golden in both name and color. Yuengling Golden Pilsner is the perfect balance of hop and malt character for crisp and smooth thirst-quenching refreshment. Cheer for your garnet and gold with Yuengling Golden Pilsner. Yuengling, brewing good times for 190 years. Must be 21 or older. Please drink responsibly. A message from local beverage distributor Triangle Sales.
AAA Tree Experts has been a Tallahassee staple for over 35 years. But did you know they now offer landscaping? AAA landscaping services include custom outdoor landscape, creative landscape design and architecture, hardscapes, waterscapes, retention walls, and French drains, irrigation and sodding, landscape and holiday lighting. Call them today for all your outdoor landscaping needs. 850-385-3319 or visit them online at AAATreeExperts.net. AAA Tree Experts and Landscaping.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Field Yates reports the Panthers convert a little more than $9 million of linebacker Luke Kuechly's salary into a bonus. That creates more than $7 million in cap space this year. The NFL schedule is out, and the Cleveland Browns get 4 primetime games after their breakout 7-8-1 season a year ago. Over the last 10 years, no team has had fewer primetime games than the Browns, but that changes this year. Another college basketball coach drops out of the running for the St. John's job. Tim Cluess, the head coach at Iona for the last 9 years and who played 2 years for the Red Storm, isn't interested. He's at least the third coach to step away from the process since Chris Mullins stepped down last week. In the NBA playoffs tonight, 3 Game 3s. The 76ers play the Nets in Brooklyn. The Nuggets against the Spurs in San Antonio. The Warriors meet the Clippers in Los Angeles. All 3 of those series are tied at 1. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Capitals and Hurricanes with Washington leading 2-1. The Blues play the Jets in Winnipeg. That series tied at 2. And the Golden Knights try to finish off the Sharks in 5 games in San Jose.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We are online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything. Sometimes you do, so we got you covered. All 3 hours get posted upon the conclusion of the show, both to iTunes and in our own audio vault. That's a good thing. Email me if you want, jcs at 979ESPNradio.com. On Twitter, it's at JCameronShow. WTSM app, good for all mobile devices. We got you. Hello, YouTubers and Periscopers. I failed to say hello to you to start the show. That's terrible. Didn't I? You know why? Because I'm not wearing a hat today, and a lot of times I kind of grab the brim of the hat like a made putt. I made the putt, the crowd politely claps, and I just off the cap a little bit. That's how I start the show, by that and a point.
Is that your go-to with a made putt?
Just to touch the brim of the cap? Yeah, I doff the cap to the imaginary audience that's clapping for my, perfectly executed 10-footer. That's how.
Do you do that if you make a 15-footer and you're playing just by yourself at Killearn Country Club or such place?
In that case, I'll wave too to the imaginary people as well. I'll wave. I'll give a little wave. Look to both sides of the green. I want to make sure I recognize all who are clapping for my big putt. Yeah. Or if I really stripe one from the fairway with like a 4-iron and throw it out there 200 plus to on the green in regulation, I'll acknowledge the patrons on the sides of the fairway that are following me. The imaginary ones.
See, I do the Dwayne Wade, now I'm limping. I've been battling through all of this. I'll make the putt, and then I'll just start limping. This is so hard.
Yeah.
This is so hard. Thank you. I appreciate you.
You guys are really helping me get through. It's difficult, but with your support, I might be able to do it. And it should be noted that one of our listeners here, Brent, says that it sounds like I should spend all of my remaining available time during the day in the shower, like Kramer.
Remember, he had a big thing about water pressure.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. You need good water pressure. It may not be the most environmentally friendly thing, but you got to pick your battles. Water pressure and air conditioning are two good ones.
Well, I feel very strongly about both. Also, I've won those arguments with my wife. I wore her out by just insisting temperature be cold in the house for so long that eventually she stopped battling.
Right. Yeah, you just say, babe, we've turned to the experts at Carrier with our friends at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning. Online at baranoac.com.
Well done.
What else? I mean, we need to use what they've given us.
We've got two really highly functioning units in this house.
The Cadillac experience, right?
Yeah.
Or the Craft Infinity experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of air conditioning. That's what Barano does for you.
Yeah, she says that that doesn't have, even though the quality of the product is exactly as you described, it doesn't do anything to help us when the electric bill comes in. So I told her, I said, but that's not true. It'd be even higher if we didn't have these wonderful Carrier units. So the silly folks at ESPN, by the way, what's the weather in Virginia? Florida State's going to be able to play tonight? We're going to be good to go there?
I'll pull it up. Weather window time.
Weather window time.
Matt Millar Memorial.
Yep. The silly folks at ESPN decided to project next year's college football playoff already with a so-called predictor. And and what they wrote basically was that according to ESPN's playoff predictor, the Tigers, that would be Clemson, have an 83% chance to reach the playoff, even after losing all of these freaking guys to the NFL draft. That's what they are projecting.
It's because the conference doesn't pose a challenge, right?
Well, and they're really good.
84 degrees and sunny right now in Charlottesville. It's a little toasty up there.
Toasty up there.
But it doesn't look like there's any precipitation anywhere near the baseball fields tonight.
Been to that baseball field. I've walked all around it. It bothers me that as I did, I noted their national championship sign in baseball.
A lot of teams have those.
Goes to show, though, doesn't necessarily guarantee sustained success as they are sub 500 in the ACC.
Looks like whatever system is passing through Tallahassee tomorrow in the early hours, please, everybody, stay updated on that. On Twitter, at NWS Tallahassee National Weather Service is a good follow there, is also passing through Charlottesville, Virginia, because tomorrow, the evening time, I don't think they're playing baseball. And then on Saturday, it's beautiful, and the temperature has dropped 20 degrees between Thursday and Saturday.
The blinding beauty of Charlottesville, Virginia. Stadium's okay. It's not a great stadium. I thought I was going to be blown away. I was just there this past summer. It doesn't do anything to you. You're not like, oh, this stadium's amazing. It's okay.
It's just got some columns in the end zones, right, which are kind of cool.
Oh, I'm not talking about their football stadium. I'm talking about their baseball stadium. Oh. Yeah, my kids ran the bases there and had a good time.
The backstop presents well on television.
It does.
With
it's not ugly. It's just an average stadium, though.
Did you walk by the football stadium?
Oh, of course, yeah.
What'd you think of that?
I've been there before, but
okay. It's like a lower bowl, right? Like
yeah,
you go down into the.
Yeah, it's yes, that's correct. It's exactly what you'd think it would be. Dated, behind the times in terms of modern amenities at the stadium.
So does it look like
it's got columns?
You know how minor league ball clubs, like they have like these little replica stadiums,
charming stadiums,
like Steinbrenner Field in
of course,
Tampa,
yes. Greenville, South Carolina has a mini Fenway,
right? And which they also do down in Fort Myers, wherever the hell they play.
Well, I think it should
training.
be a law that if you are a minor league team of the Boston Red Sox, you have to have a wall.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's a big difference.
Gotta have it. Yeah,
yeah. So maybe that's what it is. It's like a mini version of like an old high-end football stadium.
Yeah, maybe it's charming. It doesn't. It's the oddity of my fondness for Virginia and our singing of "Here Comes Virginia" and the fact that my nephew's there at law school and all of these things is that I actually don't like Virginia football fans.
Like 100% agree.
No, it's weird. They're
more pompous than New York Yankee fans.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
Yeah, because at least the Yankees have those 27 titles, right?
What do you have?
Yeah,
you have the Jefferson.
Well, they
Jefferson
have
side of the Jefferson
Epps. Back to the silliness of projecting the college football playoff at this time of year from ESPN. They talk about Trevor Lawrence and the Football Power Index, and the FPI at Clemson had, they only have the 56th hardest schedule amongst FBS teams. Hard to fathom how, using their model, they won't make it to the college football playoff. So I'm going to fast forward here because here's what I thought was really odd. They talked about Alabama. Obviously, you would always, that's an annual thing. Just go ahead and pencil them in from here until the end of days. They have a 71% chance to reach the playoff, trailing Clemson, but well ahead of where Playoff Predictor had Alabama a year ago. Their impression of Alabama took a hit in last season's national championship game. The Tide also have tremendous potential with Tua at the helm of the offense yet again. So Clemson with a better chance of getting there than Alabama. That's largely to do with schedule. And so, yes, that's what they think. Now, that's not the intrigue because everybody's going to have Clemson and Alabama written into their little playoff model. Who are the two other teams is what you want to know, right? And they tell you how they come up with this, and you can question, obviously, their mode, and you can question the methodology. But what they end up having, and I find it stunning, okay, Georgia's in there, which, okay, that's fine. I mean, you could put them. You can put, if you want, I don't know, Oklahoma, because the Big 12's usually weak, and they win a lot of games too. You can, I don't know who else you would want to put in there, but that's fine. Maybe Ohio State, right? But they don't have Ohio State. You know who they have? Michigan. Can we get the hell up out of here with this? What are we doing? Michigan has become that team that annoys me. The way that UCLA is under the tent of suspicion at all times.
Maybe the FPI can get Harbaugh an extension for another 5 years.
Good God. Really?
Michigan.
Huh? Yeah. And then they go through the most likely playoff combinations, and it's Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, Michigan, Alabama, Clemson, Michigan, OU, Alabama, Clemson, LSU, Michigan. Michigan's in every one of these. What is going on? Nobody believes in Michigan.
This is interesting, though. I think the Big 12 is up for grabs this year because Hurts is a really good player, but he's a little bit limited, right? And he's going to be their quarterback, and it looks like Texas has some things going to where they can compete. I don't know if either of them would make it to the college football playoff, but I would think the Big 12 might be up for grabs a little bit more this season, right?
Yeah. I would probably. We thought Texas was coming on, so...
All I'm just saying is, if it's the next most likely thing is OU, I'm like, wait a minute, are we going to pencil them in? I mean, Jalen's a good player, but he's not Kyler and he's not Baker Mayfield. Just because he's really dynamic doesn't mean that he's on the level of those two dudes.
I wouldn't necessarily assume that. They're just most likely percentages, and they're on one of these first three. Michigan? What am I missing with Michigan? We do this every year.
It's been a 6-year build, man.
Every freaking year with Harbaugh.
They're just building. They're building.
It's
like the U. The U isn't back. The U is building.
In perpetuity. And the same goes for Harbaugh, apparently. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Events and activities, well, it leaves you precious little time to kick back and take a load off. About the last thing you want to do is hours of laundry, but there it sits. fairly certain that Arizona is going to take Kyler Murray, and many years from now, we're going to go, they could have had Nick Bosa. That's how that conversation is going to go. Have you seen that guy? Have you watched the specials? They're coming fast and furious now, these specials on these picks. And everywhere you look, there's a profile on guys in the top 10. And you're hearing from them, so you're getting to learn about their personality. Don't forget, 1 week from today, we'll be at Bumpa's Local 349 for the NFL Draft, like we were a year ago. Join us for the watch party. It's a lot of fun.
It's usually these events that really mark how quick time can fly by.
It is. It's unnerving because I can remember it like it was yesterday that we were talking about the draft.
The draft party at Bumpa's.
Yeah, and it was a big deal because Bumpa's was brand new, and it's still a lot of fun. It's going to be great, and they've really actually refined their efforts at Bumpa's. The food's better now than it was a year ago, and the food was good a year ago.
Buddy, I know I talked about the pretzel yesterday, but. I'm excited for that, but the Sprouts. It's the Sprouts, man.
The Sprouts. And you know what I'm guilty of with that? I'm guilty of ordering whatever my main meal is going to be. These days, it's a Cobb salad with no bacon, and I throw on the avocado. I get crazy with that. You've seen me with my Cobb salad. I love that salad. But it's a huge salad. It's a big one. And I don't know if they're just doing that because they love me. And they make it extra big.
There's like a 20% chance it's just the Cameron portion.
It may be. But I eat this giant salad, and I love it. I know I'm going to get sick of it because I eat it all the time. But when I finish it, I don't have anything left. And I always order the Sprouts because they're the Sprouts.
Mm-hmm.
And they're so damn good.
They're
Brussels sprouts are, and you and I, the last time we were there, both overate. We were like, "Oh, this is ridiculous!"
Well,
I
got the Uncle Sal. I mean, that is
can't even finish this. And these sprouts, we can't just leave these sprouts. We ended up having to share the sprouts.
It's a lot of sausage and peppers, man.
It's crazy. Anyhow, so Bosa, to me, when I look at those highlight reels of this guy and his workouts, and then obviously what he did when he was on the field before getting hurt, we forgot about him because he got hurt and he was gone. He's a freak. He's a freak.
Yeah, he should be better than his brother, and obviously, his brother's had injury problems. But
when his brother's healthy, he's good, though.
Yeah, he's really good. And this is, I said yesterday, I really haven't paid attention to the draft. Well, I did pay attention to this guy because Daniel Jeremiah said as he was evaluating Ohio State's front seven last year for the 2018 draft, he said, I'm trying to evaluate these kids that are coming out this year, and I can't take my eyes off of Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
If he came out last
He'd be the number
year,
one
he
pick.
would have been the number one pick last year.
Yeah, I heard him say that too, and that kind of raised an eyebrow. And then when you just look at his work ethic and you listen to the way that he talks, he eats, breathes, sleeps football. So much of, and we don't necessarily get to where we talk about this a lot. And by we, I mean people, in the industry, but also any of the evaluators. You'll talk about what their wingspan is. You'll talk about what they bench, what they run in the 40. Depending on the position, obviously, there are key words we know. Like you're locking in on a receiver. What does he run in the 40? You need to know, is he fast enough to get open? I mean, like, can he run by somebody?
How fast does he run?
Yeah, right, all that stuff. But for me, a big part of what has to be in place when you take somebody in the top 10. Now, the further on down we go, you maybe a little leeway there, but top 10 picks have to be home runs. You've got to get a player, barring injury, that can contribute in year one. So right now, whether that's depending on the position, again, at the very least, they got to be a player on special teams. They got to do something for you because you're not drafting a guy in that position to just sit around. They got to play. You're in desperate shape. If you're drafting 4th overall, 5th overall, you sucked last year. You need a guy to come in and play, usually, unless there was a trade. You need a guy that can come in and play right away. And I need to know, again, as I eliminate uncertainty, do they love football? When I see these interviews, I'm thinking, that guy is doing this for the money, or, man, he would probably play football for like $50,000. Like if he, if that's what the salaries were, and he could go be a teacher or play football, he'd run the risk and go play football because he loves the damn game. I want my top 10 guys to love the hell out of playing football. Like they have to, because there's a work ethic that comes with that, because their desire to get better at the thing they love is intact. So it's not just, I got to earn a check. It's, I love this game, and if I can kick ass at it, I love it even more. So I'm going to do everything I can. And I want those guys. I want, listen, that's the other part. When we were talking about Jameis coming out, I knew he loved football. He loves football in an uncomfortable way. I mean, he's a little kid drawing up plays and all that. When you talk to him off the record about football, he'll prattle on for an hour about football. You don't do that unless you love something.
Yeah, you got to genuinely love the hell out
Yeah.
of it. There was one interview I saw with it. They asked a kid, and I forget if it was this morning or not, but they're asking a draft prospect, some players in history say that they note when they're playing a team that passed over them, because they want to show out.
Yeah.
And they want to show and prove to that ownership group or that coaching staff that you missed out. You probably should have taken me. So, like, for example, I don't know that Derwin James has said this, but he could have with the Bucs. Well,
yeah.
You talked about me all this time, and then, I'm just not good enough. You traded back, and he still didn't take me. So I'm going to show you. What the kid ended up saying was, I don't think that way because I know if I do what I'm supposed to do, every team I play is going to have to scheme for me. So why would I single out one team or the other? I just want to play football. And as soon as I can play football, then I could be a factor for everybody's preparation because that's who I am. There you go. That's the answer.
That's pretty cool. That's a funny answer, by the way. You don't get that.
No, usually it's, of course I want to show these guys. I feel disrespected because I don't care.
People in professional sports tend to create the proverbial chip and use it in a way that reads poorly.
Unless you're, somebody like Jalen, because then you got a chip about everything. But it
fuels sassy.
It makes you
sassy.
It makes you sassy, though. It makes you who you are, I guess, at that point.
Good old sassy. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
we have tonight? What show is running after we say peace for the evening?
We got the soccer guys coming up next, which in intersectional time, you notice that this odd thing's going on with Man City and Tottenham. Because they played yesterday in the second leg of Champions League.
4-3, I think it was.
4-3. So the Spurs advance. Spurs advance because they scored more road goals. It was a 4-4 aggregate.
Mm-hmm.
But what they do with the tiebreak in Champions League is if you score an away goal, that counts for more than just a home goal. So Spurs advance, but then they play for the Premier League on Saturday. So they're seeing a lot of each other. It's kind of goofy, right?
Yeah.
And that's a really important game because obviously you're trying to be in the top 4 for next year.
Mm-hmm.
As you can tell, I've kind of invested a little bit more time, my Saturday mornings, into Premier League.
I like Saturday morning
It's
Premier
fun.
League. I watch it, yeah. I catch myself, not every weekend, but I catch myself watching quite a bit of it as well. So we were both simultaneously doing that without the knowledge that the other was.
I think that's true.
We could have called and said, hey, you watching the game?
Well, and it's a shameless plug, but I've been over to Seventh Hill for a couple of the matches. They have all the Arsenal matches, and I've taken up Arsenal as my squad of choice.
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal's fun this year. They're kind of like a Big 12 team, if you will. They play much.
They give
more,
up a lot of goals.
They give up a lot, but they score a lot.
Yeah.
They go up and down. They used to try to pass the ball into the net. You know, it's like 74 passes. They get inside the 18. You're like, good God, shoot the ball.
Shoot the ball, yeah.
But now they just try and, kind of get up and down with you. But they give up a lot of qualities.
Let's do the probables for a little baseball action.
Oops, you got me.
Oh.
I was pulling up to see if we have a playoff game tonight, an NBA playoff game.
I don't care.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching probables?
Glad we chose this one. First of all, I love the Talking Heads, but secondly, it just works for probables. It just does.
You can feel the warm breeze.
You can.
Like an 80-mile-an-hour breeze, right?
I pictured driving with the top down on a warm summer's day. Kansas City taking on the Yankees. It's Homer Bailey. He of the I can't get anybody out, somehow still have a job in baseball, Homer Bailey family. Domingo Germán goes for the Yankees. Andrew Kashner goes for the Orioles as they face the Rays. Hunter Wood. Well, my goodness gracious. The man's name is awesome.
Those are some confusing directions.
Hunter Wood is making his first start of the season in the series finale. Dodgers Brewers, Julio Arias. Zach Davies for the Brewers. Phillies are 11-6. Zach Eflin pitches for them tonight. Kyle Freeland will go for the Rockies, who are 6-12. Disappointing Rockies. Surprising Mariners. I got an adjective describing every team now. Felix Hernandez goes for the Mariners. The Angels will throw Chris Stratton. I feel like the Angels, despite having Mike Trout, are just kind of largely irrelevant. Doesn't it feel that way?
Well, sure. They signed Matt Harvey. That's what comes with
That's
it.
what it does. Reds, Padres, Tanner Roark, and Chris Paddock going in that one. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump.
No NBA tonight. We'll be joining the Braves tomorrow, so that's going to replace what would have been Pacers-Celtics, but we're going to have Braves baseball instead.
I have to tell you that I enjoy, and I've said it before, and I'll reiterate it, I think the move to bring the Braves to our network was a good one. A, I think it's right for the area, but B, I rather, again, enjoy their broadcast team, so even though I don't care one iota about the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, it's not a crappy baseball broadcast.
Yeah, it's a good one. I find myself listening.
And, the interesting thing to me is at a place we used to work, we had the Rays radio network.
Yes, we did.
And that would be a good radio network to have this year as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're quite good. But that booth is terrible. That booth is awful. Those guys are sorry. And the Braves one is way better than the Rays booth.
They miss, is my man Charlie Slows?
No, it was Andy Freed and
yeah, I forget.
Dave whatever.
I'm going back some time ago with Charlie Slows.
Those two.
Charlie's still around?
I think he's around.
He's not dead, right?
I think he's on the planet.
Yeah, he's
not in. He's not in the grass.
He's still around, right? I couldn't remember, and I was kind of curious. You know, the Pirates are 10-6, Tom. I'm just saying.
10-6.
They're 10-6,
doing some things.
I thought half their team is out injured. I'm like, we got people I've never heard of at times getting at bats. I'm like, who the hell is this guy?
They're 10. Okay, so they played 16 games. That means benches have cleared at least 5 times this season.
It's what we do. Although I don't think yesterday's incident with Anderson and the White Sox really warranted a beating. I'm old school on that front, and I do subscribe to the idea of enforcing the unwritten rules. I don't go along with all those who say, oh, these unwritten rules are stupid. Nope, they're good. They're great. And people need to get hit sometimes. But I'm also forward-thinking enough that if a guy is excited to hit a big home run, as long as you don't stand there and look at it for days, if we want to flip the bat.
Yeah, like your boy from Cincinnati who didn't leave the batter's box.
Right, and he had to get hit.
But Archer's kind of an a-hole, so I understand why he did it. Archer kind of is calling for that.
He jumps off the mound, and I mean, I get it. But you can flip the bat. You don't have to stand at home plate.
The one thing I thought that was a little shaky, and all I saw really outside of like the normal play-by-play angle was one from the Royals dugout. So a camera angle from the Royals dugout.
Yeah, when he throws
and he throws the bat, but then he has an extra snap of the chin, and it looks like he said something to the catcher when he did that. He wasn't looking totally at the dugout. He was looking at the catcher. So if he says something to homeboy behind the plate.
Well, yeah, then you got to hit him.
I think at that point, the catcher probably orders the code red.
I'm all right with that. I did laugh. By the way, I've always thought this is great when it happens. When a catcher does one of two things to signal to the pitcher that this is going to have to be a hit batsman. Middle finger straight down is always funny. We got the camera on.
For our viewers, there you go.
It's always funny. I mean, that's just great, right? Here you go.
All that's missing is the beer, Stone Cold.
That makes me laugh every time they do it, and they don't do it as often as they used to, but that is funny. And then also when they don't put any signal down, there's no pitch. They just go like that.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even signal a pitch.
I'm like, you know what time it is. That was a 2-2 game they threw at him, too.
I know.
So they really wanted that one. It's not 6-1, one way or the other. That's 2-2.
It's a long season, man. And the bat flip itself didn't warrant because it wasn't bad. He just turned and threw it.
Yeah, he chucked it, and that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But that didn't warrant it.
It looked like he turned his head to the catcher and said something, I think. Now, if he didn't, then obviously you're correct. There's no beanball warranted.
By the way, did you notice, and I didn't get to it earlier in the show and probably a little late in the game to get to it now, but Dan Mullen is just straight taking shots at everybody. He took a shot at FSU in the spring game, and now he's taking shots at Georgia. Mullen's feeling it.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, we could use, I'm thinking of rivalries, and I'm thinking about, we were talking about beanings. I'm thinking about guys that chide and perhaps create a little extra. I hope he continues to do it. I hope he says some things.
Well, we need to respond, though, on the field first, and then we can offer up some stuff, right? Because last year was a lot about talk and no substance. Let's get some substance going.
Yeah, you got to win games, and for it to be a rivalry. But he said about us, for those that don't know, regarding the attendance, that it might have been around 41,140, 4114.
Yeah.
And a couple people picked up on it right away and kind of chuckled.
He should have said it was 4,114. That's really dumb on his part.
But then, now he's saying stuff with Georgia, and he said that after the Bulldogs won an SEC title game in Smart's second season, that's not the first time Dan Mullen has done this, in 2017, he said, listen, to make it to one SEC championship game doesn't make you a dominant program. You know what I'm saying? I mean, 2 out of the last 3 years, we've still been to the SEC championship game. So even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. Yeah.
Okay.
Through that. He's throwing it out there.
He'll throw some punches and he'll whiff, though. I mean, you know that guy's good for a whiff or two.
He's goofy.
You just look at him. Yeah.
He's goofy. He's a goofy guy. But I want people to start chiding us. I'm inviting it. I want people taking shots
because we got to set the stage for the revenge tour.
That's right, and I love the revenge tour. And I think the revenge tour can start in earnest when Sims gets here, and we have a we got a guy.
Well, poor James Blackman. He'll never be good enough.
No, but I like James a lot. He's who we need right now. He's a good leader. I think that's true, and I think he's a good enough quarterback to win 8 games for you, and then that's,
He's like Mick Foley, He's just never good enough.
And Foley was awesome, but it breaks my heart because here's the thing. I love that kid because he loves this program and he loves his teammates, and I do want him to be better than we all think he can be, and maybe that happens. If we can keep him upright, that's the only way it's going to happen. But the side note here is this. So, as we've been talking the last couple of days about the NFL draft, these kids are doing the car wash now, some of these guys, these top 5 picks.
Yep.
And, they've had 3 different Alabama players either on Wake Up or Get Up or whatever the hell that show's called.
Golic and Wingo.
Yeah, they've all been on, right? Well, this morning over coffee, I look out at the TV and my kids are watching SportsCenter and they're talking about which players they were going to have. I think it was Quinnen, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Quinnen Williams.
Yeah. And they were talking about he was going to be going around doing all the different shows. He was going to be on First Take or whatever.
It looked like he was in New York because I actually I caught Golic and Wingo with Quinnen Williams on, and it was just Mike and Junior. So the show was better, and the interview was conducted pretty well too. I like him as a personality. He is a worker. He doesn't give a damn about anything other than getting the job done and working. Clearly, Alabama has infused that ethic. If he didn't already have it, maybe he did. But then they asked him a question, and it's a good canned answer. If it was his agency that told him, they said, when you get your check, what are you going to do? He goes, I don't want anything from me. I'm going to get my grandma set up, and my sister just got into college, and so I'm going to make sure that she's treated right because she took care of me. I was like, well, okay.
That's awesome.
If he falls to 5,
okay,
maybe I get a little choked up, a little Vita Vea and Quinnen Williams.
That would suck.
Right.
I would do that. Well, the reason I brought it up was they were showing highlights from the national championship game, and it kind of broke my heart temporarily because I'm watching Trevor Lawrence throw dimes. I mean, with a lot of what for. And that one in the back of the end zone when Alabama got the late hit penalty after the touchdown, that's a ridiculous throw. And he's going to get bigger and stronger.
Yeah.
He's figuring it out.
Well, and he's
got
pocket
better
mobile. I mean, he's got a little bit more mobility than you give him credit for. I know he got popped against Syracuse, but he knows how to read the option. And what does that mean to the NFL level? He's not going to run it, but he can move around.
He's really good. He's just so good.
It's just sunshine.
It was a damn reminder that we're not catching them, not while he's there. We need him to take it on down the road.
What's really disconcerting about him
troubling.
Is when we were doing the breakdown, right, of Florida State Clemson week, which was tough, but we did it because we're pros.
That's what we do.
He predetermines his reads. He still does. But you know what? He's right.
Good enough to get it.
And he's right. That's the scary thing.
He's right, and he makes a lot of very difficult throws into very tight windows against good secondaries. I mean, he's torching good secondaries.
Yeah, what would that be like in today's baseball terms? Throw 102, 103?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's about how fast
Another
you have to throw these days but for somebody not to get a bat on it if you say I'm throwing it right down the middle.
So that is, I think Ryan Howard has been surprisingly good in the booth, by the way, when he gets an opportunity to do it.
He just doesn't speak up for himself, but when he talks, man, he's got great thoughts on infield defense, positioning, all that stuff.
He was talking about pitching, and he was talking about the game changing and the approaches to hitting changing. And he was saying, well, listen, if you've noticed, guys hit 100 now pretty consistently. And he's talking about hitters. They'll hit 100 mile per hour.
Never able to before.
They couldn't do it. Because, most guys topped out at 95. So if you saw 100, you were blown away. But now because everybody can throw 100, they're seeing it, and hitters are adjusting, and they can hit it. And they're not even worried about it. Like, if you find out you're going to the ballpark to face a guy that throws 100, well, welcome to the majors because everybody does.
Well, and
That's just nuts.
You've seen 2 or 3 guys in the last 3 days that can do it in the 7th inning or later.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah.
And every one of those relievers that comes out, in most of them, unless they're like a crafty lefty or something, they're coming in throwing gas.
No, 94 is the new 88.
It's
for relievers.
Crazy. It's just insane. I mean, and it's happened quickly. And I remember Mike Martin Jr. telling me, speaking of which, their game against Virginia tonight, but I remember him telling me that when you can see it, he goes, he's always on the road recruiting. And he said, I've seen a shift in the way that young kids develop their arms. And they all know that in order to get to the bigs, you got to throw hard. And he said, so they start throwing hard sooner, and they do the kinds of exercises that allow for you to get more speed. different stretches, different types of throws and angles. And he says you start seeing kids early on, and your ability to project that, and this is something Sully does a real good job with down in Gainesville. You're projecting a kid who's throwing 88 his junior year in high school, and you're going, 4 years from now,
right?
What's that going to be? And you look at body type, you're doing a Jimbo.
Well, and this is where I get, a little bit geeky because I like to look at professional sports and what the next wave is. It's like there's check and balances with coaches and schemes. Like there was a West Coast offense, but then you had the Tampa 2, and you were sponsored now Cover 3 with the Seahawks. And now you've got all kinds of weird stuff with hybrids out there. But weren't we talking about that at the old place of business, that the hybrids are the next thing?
Mm-hmm.
It's like now you have an era with, and this was back then, Antonio Gates, and you've got Tony Gonzalez, and you've got, little shifty receivers in the slot. So now, like, a slot corner becomes way more valuable. That was your worst corner, but now a slot defender, the star position at Alabama.
It's a very big deal.
And you probably need to be 6 feet, maybe 6'1".
Yep.
With the wingspan, the range, and the quickness, and that's where you can make your money as a safety hybrid. Safeties used to be worse than corners, but now in some ways, especially when they're in the slot, they become all the more valuable. And it's not, you don't have 3 linebackers on the field hardly anymore.
No, and you're seeing those hybrid players now. They're not just every now and again a team would get lucky to have a guy like that, and you go, what they got that hybrid we keep talking about, that guy body type wise. Now every team, because they're recruiting them.
Well, they're
recruiting guys who can do that.
It was like McFadden's good year,
Mm-hmm.
when his first season, you're like, oh my God, he's taller than Jalen Ramsey. I remember we were down when we were at the Peach Bowl against Houston. We're like, well, he's taller than Jalen. That's crazy. And Jalen is the embodiment of
the hybrid.
Right.
Yeah.
Of the Cam Chancellor.
We were blown away when we were down on the field for the Peach Bowl. We were staring at him going, boy, that's going to be different.
And it was for a year.
What happened?
That's a great question.
I mean, what happened?
Somebody must have found something on film that he just can't do X. Be it backtrack,
he
backpedal,
stopped.
He didn't have speed.
Because remember how much better he got as the year went on that first year? He became a hip pocket guy.
If he could have just caught in the first 6 games,
he would have had a ton.
Yeah, he would have had 5 more picks.
He still had a ton. He was tied for the lead in the nation, I think. And then forgot how to play completely and got real slow.
Well,
weird things happen.
Seeing how good Derwin is at the pro level, I think maybe, coaching staff may have been a bit of an issue there.
Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.